Hyundai Motor Group produces Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis cars and will be investing $9 billion to create an annual production of 1.2 million vehicles here in the U.S. Hyundai will invest a total of $21 billion in the U.S. between the years 2025 and 2028. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Alabama Unfiltered Radio, and when I need the news and I need it fast, I turn to Andrea Tice and the Daily Detail. On my way in, it is the most convenient, best way for me to digest what's going on so that I can use it for our show. She tells you what's going on in Alabama that day first and fast. So listen to the Daily Detail with Andrea Tice. Don't miss out.
The Daily Detail is available wherever podcasts are found.
The Fairhope City Council met this past Monday night and reassured the public that there are no plans for the city to pull funding for the public library in the same way that the Alabama public library system did last week. One council member did express concern that the APLS made the decision to pull those funds based on the word of one person regarding sexually explicit books found in the Fairhope children's section. The mayor of Fairhope, Sherry Sullivan, said the city and library leaders are working to get more clarity on the new guidelines and policies coming from the APLS and confirmed that 5 books have already been moved from the teen section to the adult section in that library. Board members of the APLS will be traveling to visit that library in the near future. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/score. Ethos.com/score.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Slamming politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels. I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program, folks, here on a lovely Tuesday out of Montgomery, Alabama. As I was getting ready for the show, saw great breaking news. There's a long 12-hour meeting, I believe, between the United States and the Russians yesterday in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. A lot of folks disappointed a joint statement did not come out of that immediately, that 12-hour meeting, but it looks like they're actually agreed. The Russians and the Ukrainians have advanced the ceasefire, all fighting in the Black Sea, and finalized their deal to not attack one another's energy infrastructure. And there's so much more to get to today, but I am heartened to have him back on the program. The one, the only Judge Napolitano, who might know a little thing about Russia more than the average bear. How you doing today, Judge?
I'm fine, Joey. How are you, my dear friend?
I'm doing quite well, very well. Now, for folks who don't know, in my audience, you made a big trip to Moscow, to Russia. Tell us how this all went down, who invited you, how this came together.
You know, out of the blue, although I had been given a heads up to make sure that I wouldn't say no, I received an invitation from the Russian Foreign Ministry from Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov himself to spend a couple of hours with him. And I did, along with two other journalists, one of whom I knew, the other I didn't. Now, spending 2 hours with a senior Russian official is not like having small talk like you and I might,
right,
or even like having a conversation with President Trump. The Russians are notorious for very, very, three very long answers. If you recall the interview that President Vladimir Putin did with our friend Tucker Carlson, the first question provoked a 45-minute answer during which President Putin barely even came up for air. So in the 2 hours, we got 3 questions. I managed to squeeze a fourth in because his answers are long. Now, his English is impeccable. He's a serious thinker. He knows the U.S. very well. When this is over, he and I engaged in some small talk, one of which was he knows the neighborhood where I live in Manhattan because I live right across the street from the UN. And he was the Russian ambassador to the UN for 10 years. He lived in that neighborhood for 10 years. So he knows how to break down boundaries and engage with people on a person-to-person level. When I asked him, I know there is this news as we speak about an agreement not to do battle in the Black Sea, but when I asked him if Russia would consent, this is off the record, I asked this. I don't think he would answer it on the record at the time. If Russia would consent to a ceasefire, he looked at me and said, "Where would we when we are?" And he held his fingers up like that, 1.5 inches apart.
Ooh.
Didn't say this close, but when we are, he went like that. It's obvious what he meant to convey. They have conquered or liberated, depending on how you want to look at it, nearly all the land they want. They have gotten President Zelensky to say publicly NATO is off the cards. They have not gotten the European elites to say they'll stay out, and they have not gotten Zelensky's government to agree to new elections. So they've gotten 2 of the 4 conditions that they want have been met. So they are, where's the camera? That close.
Well, and I love hearing it getting closer and closer. And I feel like this is at a point in the conversations where you really have to be in the room to know exactly what's going on. I mean, I listened to Tucker's interview with Steve Witkoff, which I found also heartening, that Witkoff seems to have the right mentality. I thought it was a little odd. He said, I wanted to be Trump. That's how close I'm a friend to him. I wanted to be that man. But hearing Witkoff's almost common sense of here's how you get a deal done and the breaking bread with Putin seems like a breakthrough of sorts. You not only, I know, got to talk to the foreign minister Lavrov there in Russia, you also got to talk to Alexander Dugin, a well-known political philosopher in that part of the world. I read some of his stuff years back. A lot of it, some of it made sense to me. Other parts of it, I'm not Russian, so, some of the priorities. But what's your, and also just being in the city, what is your sense of where Russia is today and sort of their mentality and view towards us?
The city is magnificent. The idea, the image that most Americans have of the old Soviet Union, Moscow, is totally dissipated. I mean, since 1990, since the end of the Yeltsin administration and the removal of the old Soviet central planning and the explosion of the free market in Moscow specifically, but also in other cities and throughout the country, Russia has changed radically. The city of Moscow is gorgeous. The hustle and bustle is just like Midtown Manhattan. The traffic jams are just like Midtown Manhattan. The restaurants are jammed. The shops are jammed. This is not a Potemkin village. This is not anything faked to delude Americans. Well, I saw a great deal of Russia, was free to go wherever I wanted. We went out, Larry Johnson and I went out into the countryside. We went to a military shooting range where we shot everything short of tanks. They actually said, do you want to shoot the tanks? And I declined. We didn't have the time, and I just wasn't mentally prepared to get into a Russian tank. But we had a wonderful experience with Russian military, not all of whom spoke English, but they were all great instructors on the weapons. Larry is himself an instructor, and I'm a fairly accomplished marksman, so they didn't have to teach us much, although I had never fired these very types of weapons. They're similar to what I have fired. But back to Russia, two things impressed me the most that have risen from the ashes of the Soviet Union. One is free enterprise, and the other is the Russian Orthodox Church. I mean, I sat next to Professor Dugin at two meals, at a lunch and a dinner, both of which were on Friday in Lent. On Fridays in Lent, the Russian Orthodox do not eat anything. The only thing they drink is weak tea. And I said to him, Professor Dugin, is this tempting you? And he said, no. And if I think you are tempting me, it diminishes the effectiveness of my fast.
Oh, wow.
This was a marvelous human being. You probably saw my interview with him. I could have gone on for another hour. Just a fascinating person. He wrote a book about Donald Trump. Unfortunately, it's in Russian. He autographed it to me and gave it to me, and I have it in my home, but I have to wait for an English version to come out.
I was about to say, yeah, that Dugin, he's a fascinating figure. I think you asked him about how people said he's Putin's brain, or
he did not want to answer that.
I could believe it.
Yeah.
Well, what a whirlwind of a trip, and I like seeing these breakthroughs. And I don't know what's the latest, especially with you talking to your folks about what's going on with Israel and Gaza. My sense, even from that Witkoff interview I just cited with Tucker Carlson, is Witkoff wasn't surprised by the Israelis going back in, but he thinks there might still be potential for breakthroughs. I guess it's a two-pronged question. What do you think is next in that part of the world?
I think that Donald Trump ardently wants peace in Ukraine as the linchpin to a reset. If you saw the piece I wrote in my weekend in Moscow, I argue about realism and reset.
Yeah.
And the reset he wants is a grand new economic relationship between the United States and BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. He's got this thing about South Africa, but if he wants to create a new economic relationship that will be mutually prosperous for everybody involved, he probably would include South Africa. Unfortunately, he does not have a salutary view with respect to Gaza. We are continuing to fund slaughter. We are continuing to fund the Israeli execution of babies, children, and women. There's absolutely zero justification for that. Mr. Witkoff may be a brilliant developer, a fabulously successful builder, a wonderful negotiator, and a very nice guy. But he is an ardent Zionist. He is not a neutral when negotiating on Israel. He's 100% in favor of the right-wing slaughter perpetrated by Prime Minister Netanyahu's government, and for that I give him no credit whatsoever. I also don't know who he is. Well, what is Marco Rubio if Witkoff is going around the world negotiating in these hotspots? Is little Marco, as the president used to call him, just the president's puppy dog, or is he really the Secretary of State?
It's a good question, and it is both.
Because Mr. Witkoff does not hold a government job, has not been confirmed by the United States Senate, may not spend government funds, may not use government assets, and yet he's negotiating at the two hottest hotspots in the world.
Well, and you know this world much better than I. Obviously, it seems like, in particular with Witkoff, and though he has an official title, Secretary of Commerce Lutnick, these are like mini Trumps. Like, these guys seem to be in that world, almost admire Donald Trump, and they've known each other for decades. So it seems like Trump brought good friends, let's say, into the fold.
Well, the first administration did not bring good friends into the fold, and he ended up getting impeached twice and nearly prosecuted by his own DOJ. This year, he's going to the other extreme. Could you imagine an FBI so loyal to the president that they won't investigate the leak of classified bombing materials in a phone call that included the head of the CIA, the head of national intelligence, the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, and Mr. Witkoff? Patel won't investigate that, but a real FBI, a truly independent FBI devoted to the rule of law, would investigate it, whether these are the president's friends or not. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, of course, we're definitely getting to that story. And there's testimony going on right now in the Senate Intel Committee.
Right. The reaction of the Trump administration, from the president to Sebastian Gorka to Pete Hegseth, is to trash the Atlantic. This has nothing to do with trashing the Atlantic. If Mike Waltz, whom I've known for years, inserted Mr. Goldberg, the editor of the Atlantic, inserted his phone number into this group chat, but that's a felony.
Right.
It's a felony.
Right. And
No, I don't know. I mean, the word is that Mike did this. I don't know if he admits doing it. I don't know if he did it. I don't know how Goldberg's number got in there, but this is not something that can be overlooked with a statement like, oh, he learned his lesson, or, oh, we bombed them anyway, or, oh, the Atlantic is trash. Nobody reads it. Who cares what they publish? I mean, this is Hillary Clinton on steroids.
Yeah, my main takeaway.
The names of human beings we were attempting to kill.
Yeah, my main takeaway is Mike Waltz has a lot of answers, and the initial statement by President Trump doesn't clear that up. All the conversation about what is classified, what is not, is honestly a little all Greek to me at this point. And my main takeaway is I liked seeing actual realism come out of J.D. Vance's mind in that text thread, but I shouldn't be reading it. We shouldn't be reading it. Jeffrey Goldberg should never been in it.
Vance is the only one that I would praise in that conversation, who cautioned holding back and respecting a sovereignty. Hegseth is trigger happy, and this is dangerous. Dangerous. We all knew that about Pete. Now we know it. He actually said on the record, because this wasn't a verbal conversation, this was a texting, so they were typing to each other. Nobody knows who the Houthis are, but just blame Biden and tell everybody that Iran funds them. What? You're going to kill people? You don't know who they are?
Well, I think I saw that as PR spin, that the average American doesn't know who the hell the Houthis are. We might. They don't. So blame Biden, spin it. And it's a shame that that's always a factor in these high-level conversations, but it is, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Well, I always appreciate your time, Judge. I really do. And fascinating insights from actually on the ground, meeting with high-level folks there in Moscow. And we'll see, because to me, this latest story, and we're going to play a bunch of the clips and testimony, is the first big public mistake of the Trump administration.
Yes.
And
that Trump is correct. He's gone 2.5 months or 3 months, whatever it is, without a scandal. This is scandalous. And Hegseth's response makes it worse. Well, why doesn't somebody do a mea culpa? You know what? It was an honest mistake. I did it. It's an honest mistake. Let's move on. I haven't heard that yet. Have you?
No. And if it was Michael Waltz that added Jeffrey Goldberg, that's bad enough. I'm at this point with the way technology works. Like, who actually added Jeffrey Goldberg? Was it Mike Waltz? Like, I don't trust it. And the best way to earn some of my trust is to be a little more forthright for the administration.
Let me ask you this. If you were Goldberg, would you have shut it down when you realized what it was, or would you have listened to the whole thing and published it? Because under the Pentagon Papers case, he's absolutely protected from criminal and civil liability if he publishes it.
I would have listened to the whole thing, yeah. And I don't know if I would have published every line, gone full WikiLeaks, because I don't know exactly what we're talking about here. And that's, I think, the weakest point of Jeffrey Goldberg's reporting, is where he characterizes certain things, and it would be much more credible to just publish the actual text and screenshots that you have.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's fascinating. A lot more to come. Great chatting with you. Tomorrow at noon on Judging Freedom, the great George Galloway, the great member of Parliament who stands up to power. Great human being. Can't wait to have him on.
Fiery as always. I know you speak.
The world according to George Galloway.
Well, Judge, God bless, and we'll do it again soon. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Joey. All the best.
Again, folks, that's Judge Andrew Napolitano. Always appreciate his time here on the program. Here in the studio with me, Eddie has the day off for some grandkid kid babysitting and some real estating. But Byron Sheehy here in the studio with me. How you doing today?
Doing well, man. How are you, Joey?
I'm all right.
You know he's not real estate. He's playing granddaddy.
It might be a little both. I'm willing to take him at his word. I trust him. I don't know what to trust with the high level. Well, the judge and I were just talking about. Have you seen? Obviously, you've seen this story.
I haven't heard, the in-depth what judge could provide, but I've read a little bit. I mean, this is a cluster like.
Yeah.
Whew, boy.
Well, and from the reporting, if you want to trust Jeffrey Goldberg, I don't. Though I don't trust many of these folks at this level, but I mean, he does have the receipts. He does have, like, his story does make a lot of sense just as a story of how he got included. He's like, what in the world? He thought he was being scammed initially. And my question is, did Mike Waltz actually add him, Jeffrey Goldberg, to this sensitive chat? Or is there something else even worse afoot? Because if it's Waltz, that's a big F up, a big one.
Well, I mean, I think you ask it, to the judge, who else could it be? I mean, people just don't find themselves on your text threads.
Right. And I don't fault Goldberg for being like, this just dropped in my lap. What a story.
No, that was an interesting question, though, from a journalistic standpoint. Do you, knowing that there are natural interests, at stake, would you publish it and have it redacted and not name the nation or any of the people involved, like sort of as, hey, here are the players. I'm not going to say the place that they're talking about, but this is kind of the leak. And I mean, is there a scenario where Waltz was kind of essentially acting as a whistleblower? I mean, can he spin that?
Well, and so there's two sides of this. There's the scandal part of it, of how the hell do you invite a very much a journalist who's a nemesis of the administration, not just any journalist, not some like Times reporter you don't know anything about. This is Jeffrey frickin' Goldberg. This is weapons of mass destruction.
They were doing this for transparency.
He called our fallen soldiers losers and suckers. This is that Jeffrey Goldberg. So, like, that guy? Really, that guy? Was Waltz back channeling with him to sort of keep him on a leash? Or
whoever gave it to him almost seems like they were intentionally giving him weaponized information.
Right. And so we'll get to the clips here in a second. So there's a scandal side. And of course, I think Waltz is the one who really needs to answer questions.
100%.
But because I don't think anybody else was aware there was something else going on. But the other side of this is it's a crazy look behind the curtain about how some of this gets done with a principals meeting or a principals committee. And you have every different player voted up from the vice president's office, from the State Department, from the intelligence community, from DOD. You have all these folks on top of this, and we're going to kind of follow through with the policy. The president has given the command to open sea lanes. Do we move on to it tomorrow? Do we move on to it this week? Do we move it on next month? How do we play this out? The fascinating back and forth with J.D. Vance bringing up only 3% of U.S. shipping goes through the Suez Canal. Why is this only our responsibility when 40% of European goods go through that canal? I'd hate to bail them out again. So you get this amazing look behind the curtain. In many ways, I'm like, well, I don't take away this idea that this is not a good team, because when I read it, I'm like, no, it sounds like everybody being on the same page, having a little bit of argument over, what does this look like to the public? What does this cost us with the message we're trying to send in a new geopolitical age with the Europeans carrying their own weight, yada, yada, yada. And then it's executed quite well.
I need to see some timestamps. I need to see when he was added, because I want to know if it was shortly after Hegseth made his comments or if he was on the text well beforehand.
And by the way, this is real in the sense that the White House confirmed the text conversations are real.
I mean, can we agree that Hegseth's probably in the most trouble here politically?
Why?
You don't think so?
No, but explain it to me because I don't get that.
I mean, to me, the audacious nature of that, like to say that only 3% of Americans know who they are.
He's right.
Is he?
Yes.
Okay.
I think the average American doesn't know who the F the Houthis are. They're some bad guys that work with Iran.
All right. Should he have been making different statements or asking different questions, possibly, other than just blame the Iranians and tell them Biden did it? Does that seem very responsible?
It sounds like the way it always works and has worked and will work.
I thought we were looking for a better way under this administration.
No, we are. We're not going to get rid of the PR aspect of every political actions, especially a strike against a foreign adversary.
Be honest with it. I mean, we had to take it out because it was a shipping lane.
Well, if you don't want a government lying to you like your children, maybe you shouldn't have a government. Because if you have a government, they will read my lips. They will always lie to us like we're children.
Maybe I am a child. I like to think that if they're acting above board and doing things that they don't necessarily, and I know that war is a part of life in politics, but some wars seem just and some wars don't. And if it's just, explain it. And let's go.
Yeah, you don't get to close up international shipping through this strait.
Right. I mean,
I've heard some of my libertarian friends argue this is an extension of the Yemeni war that goes way back to Obama and stuff. And I'm like, no, that was over who controlled like different areas, what groups up, what groups out. No, this is actually an achievable objective. Stop shooting at ships coming through the strait.
I just don't understand why he made the statement that he did.
Hegseth?
Yeah.
Because I think he realizes that most Americans, if they care of politics at all, are thinking about bread and butter domestic issues.
Was that his place to say that?
Yeah, in a group setting with all the principals, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's always, to every action, there's the actual policy, how you execute the policy. Then there's how you explain the policy amongst yourselves and how you understand it in the entire group and administration.
So you're cool with, you're cool with the, let's just blame Biden. Instead of saying why we're doing this, take ownership and responsibility.
Yeah, but is not there some blame to Biden? Isn't there truth to that?
Is there not some blame to the
No, the Biden administration let this go on for months, and they would only do a proportional strike back. So if one rocket launcher shoots, we'll shoot that one.
If we're doing the if this, then this happened in the Middle East, we can go back to whenever you want to start. So.
Sure, but the Biden administration, I don't think, took the Houthis very seriously when they started doing this.
I don't think we're taking them very seriously if we don't state who they are and why we're doing this. If we just say...
Well, and people have.
Thank goodness.
But I'm telling you, the average American doesn't want a 5,000-word explanation of the Houthis and what's happened with Yemen and all their ties. The average American, who especially watches Fox News, goes, oh, they're a proxy of Iran.
Okay.
And we're going to open the shipping lanes back up. And again, this is not a shock to me. Marco Rubio's been saying this should be American foreign policy when he was in the Senate. He's been giving speeches for half a decade, if not longer, saying a main core element of U.S. foreign policy is open shipping lanes and the right of navigation.
The Iranians, via the Houthi, are closing the shipping lanes. That's why we're at it. It's a very simple statement.
Right. And that's what I took from the text.
Well, I took it like to hell with whatever, we need to say or do to accomplish this. Let's just do it and we'll sort it out later.
No, I took it as how do you explain this in a simple way to everyday Americans after we do it? And by the way, you saw them all do that on the Sunday talk show.
Okay. I took it a different way. My apologies.
But here's Hegseth being defensive yesterday. Let's listen in.
Your information about war plans against the Houthis in Yemen was shared with a journalist in The Atlantic, and were those details classified?
You're talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again, to include the hoaxes of Russia, or the fine people on both sides hoax, or suckers and losers hoax. So this is the guy that peddles in garbage. This is what he does. I would love to comment on the Houthi campaign because of the skill and courage of our troops. I've monitored it very closely from the beginning. And you see, we've been managing 4 years of deferred maintenance under the Trump administration. Our troops, our sailors were getting shot at as targets. Our ships couldn't sail through. And when they did shoot back, it was purely defensively or at shacks in Yemen. President Trump said, no more. We will reestablish deterrence. We will open freedom of navigation, and we will ultimately decimate the Houthis, which is exactly what we're doing as we speak from the beginning, overwhelmingly.
Why were those details shared on Signal, and how did you learn that a journalist was privy to the targets, the types of weapons used?
I've heard it was characterized. Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
The NSC said it was authentic.
That was yesterday. Today, Tulsi Gabbard, who was on that text chain, John Ratcliffe, the CIA director, on that text chain, Kash Patel, I don't think Kash was on there, but both Ratcliffe and Gabbard are right in front. Strangely enough, all this breaks, and there's a Senate Intel Committee here.
Why would Patel not be on?
No, Patel is, he was in the Senate hearing, but I don't think Patel, at least from Goldberg's reporting, was included on that. Probably because Patel doesn't have the FBI doesn't have a responsibility in something like this. That makes sense.
Yeah.
They might be pulled into certain international investigations.
I just thought, with intelligence sharing that.
Right. Yeah, I just don't think the FBI would have a kind of purview over the whole what do we do with the Houthis question.
Right. No, I mean, I understand that.
So we'll get to them in a second, because both Ratcliffe puts to bed, at least if you accept it, that actually Signal has been an accepted form of communications, especially for something like this, for a long time. It was used by the Biden administration. It was installed on my computer and stuff. You can see within the conversation, we were actually saying, should we take certain things to a high-level computers? Yeah, so they kind of understand this. Tulsi Gabbard then went on to testify that no classified information was shared. I think this is more embarrassing because you actually got to peek behind the curtain. And so you can make hay of it. You can spin it. You can, the little argument you and I just had, you can look at it 50 different ways.
But that's a PR thing. I do agree with the
Well,
judge.
that's what most of this is going on.
Well, somebody did commit a felony. I mean, whoever added Goldberg to it did a criminal act, I believe. I mean, I'm going to disagree with the secretary there on the definition of discussing plans or whatnot. But by what I understand, it seems that whoever added Goldberg did do something bad, illegal, and should be held accountable.
272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder at Dillon Rings. You know those folks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great folks.
Great folks.
Yeah, Josh and Leslie, they're ready to help you out as a full-service jewelry shop. That means they can do it all, from custom design to that amazing selection they have there, from high-end jewelry items to everyday jewelry that still looks great but won't break the bank or break your heart if you, say, mess it up or lose it. They also do spa treatments, repair work, including watch repair work. And if you go to their Facebook page, Dillon Rings, that's DYLAN Rings, on Facebook, it says, since spring has sprung, why not wear something nature-inspired like the stunning diamond ring? Oh, my goodness, that is...
Ooh, man.
That is beautiful. It's regularly $1,699. And their March sale they're having, you can get it for $849. They're, I believe, doing the 50% off, 50% of the store for Josh's 50th birthday that just came and went. So the end of March, that's only in effect. And if you go to their Facebook page, you can see this. It is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous work.
Everything in that store is gorgeous.
Yeah, and it's just one sample of, if you actually go there, yeah, you've been there. I've been there.
Spend some time.
Take the time.
Yeah. Unless you're getting a battery replaced in your watch.
And of course, they're located at 119 Brown Springs Road, right here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway, sort of the back end entrance to the AUM complex where the old fun zone used to be. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie that Joey and Byron, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
For reliable electrical services in Central Alabama, trust the experts at Crosby Electric. Crosby's licensed and insured electricians are ready to tackle any project for your home, from troubleshooting, repairs, to installing new lighting and preventive maintenance. And Crosby understands the need for quality service for small business. Crosby is big enough for the largest job, yet small enough to bring real value. Visit CrosbyElectric.com to schedule your service. Crosby, powering Central Alabama with excellence.
Alabama weather will never fail to surprise you. Our lawns hardly get a chance to have any downtime. And as usual, it's already time to start getting ready for spring. This year, save the hard work and aggravation and call Alabama Lawns, the River Region's leader in weed control and fertilization services. What makes Alabama Lawns the River Region's best? It's the people. They have the experience, education, and commitment to customer satisfaction. Ask your neighbors. Alabama Lawns has been the Montgomery Advertiser's Reader's Choice Award winner 13 years in a row. The Alabama Lawn staff is made up of long-term employees and agronomy graduates, and the staff at Alabama Lawns attend annual continuing education classes. It pays to have someone that knows southern grass types and how to keep them green and flourishing. Call Alabama Lawns today at 272-7171 and let them show you real value in a lawn maintenance service. Alabama Lawns, the company with black trucks and green lawns. 272-7171.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Welcome to Epicure and Jack's Tavern, where they cherish their seniors. Dive into their $9.99 senior-sized meat and 3 lunch specials, Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Each meal comes with a refreshing drink and a roll. It's time to savor the flavors that feel like home. Epicure and Jack's Tavern, where tradition meets taste.
Brunch lovers rejoice. Every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., Epicure and Jack's Tavern offers an exquisite brunch menu alongside their meat and 3 specials. Start your weekend right with the best local flavors. Remember, they're in the old Fantail building, waiting to make your Saturday special.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Pestruccelli, General Sales Manager and co-owner of Blue Water Broadcasting. For over 21 years, Blue Water Broadcasting has been a proud part of the River Region. We're not just a company, we're your neighbors. Our owners, air staff, account executives, and support team all live right here. We believe in this community, and we stand by our slogan, Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From little fender benders to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For 4 decades, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. It's a rather remarkable forecast for the rest of the work week. Nearly perfect today, mostly sunny, little breezy, high temperature up to about 81. Clear skies tonight, overnight low 52. More sun Wednesday and Thursday with near 80 on Wednesday, upper 70s on Thursday. Even nice weather on Friday with mostly sunny skies, high temperature up to about 81. Clouds increasing on Saturday and maybe another severe weather threat on Sunday. It's possible. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
You can make your ASC loan payments from your phone anytime, anywhere. It's quick and easy. www.yourasccu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
ASC Credit Union. Your life, your cause, your ASC.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1. WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Clark.
Welcome back. Before we jump into some of what's happened this morning from the fallout of what I would say is the first big public mistake. Maybe there have been some private mistakes we don't know about. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And there at the Goodson Group, Bo and his team are ready to help you with buying or selling here in the River Region real estate market. Bo's been working in this market for nearly 50 years. If he hadn't already hit it, I'd lose track of time, folks. And that means they're ready to help you, whatever your situation, buying, selling, or maybe you're looking to rent out your property, rent out your home. They have management services available there at the Goodson Group. And the Goodson Group is also the home of the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, one of the most highly acclaimed and accredited real estate programs in the state. A lot of great folks have gone through that course and gone into great success as more knowledgeable private players. Maybe you learn to manage property by going through that course, or as fully licensed real estate agents. So you can always check them out online. Just go to thegoodsongroup.com, or give them a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group, great sponsor here of the program. So here's the fallout a little bit. It is interesting, the timing that all of a sudden there's a Senate Intel committee that was pre-scheduled right as this dropped.
Coincidence, huh?
That's interesting. That's very interesting. But here's Ratcliffe at that hearing this morning talking about using Signal as a means of advancing these sorts of communications between top leaders in the administration. Let's listen in.
So that we're clear, one of the first things that happened when I was confirmed as CIA director was Signal was loaded onto my computer at the CIA, as it is for most CIA officers. One of the things that I was briefed on very early, Senator, was by the CIA records management folks about the use of Signal as a permissible work use. It is. That is a practice that preceded the current administration.
Well, and that was Ratcliffe. Now here's Tulsi Gabbard laying out her side and perspective on this.
Contact the defense secretary or others after this specific military planning was put out and say, hey, we should be doing this in a SCIF?
There was no classified material that was shared in that.
So then if there was no classified material, share it with the committee. You can't have it both ways. These are important jobs. This is our national security. Bobbing and weaving and trying to, filibuster your answer. So please answer the question.
272-9228. And it got even more heated than that. This is now, that was Mark Warner, I believe, but this is Michael Bennett, a Democrat on the Senate Intel Committee. And him and Ratcliffe get into quite an exchange over all of this. Let's listen in together.
It sounds to me like your testimony today and the secretary and the DNI's testimony is that there was nothing wrong at all with the Signal thread that you were on, that it didn't include any targeting information or battle sequence. That is your testimony. That's your testimony. And I'm a little staggered that is your view, Director Ratcliffe. Does the CIA have any rules about handling of classified information? Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you, Director Ratcliffe. Do you agree, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth said this morning when asked by members of the press what had happened, he said this morning in Hawaii that Atlantic Editor-in-Chief Jeff Goldberg is a, quote, deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's made a profession of providing hoaxes time and time again. Do you share that evaluation, the Secretary of Defense's evaluation of Jeff Goldberg as a journalist?
Senator, I didn't see those comments. I don't know Jeff Goldberg.
So do you share that view of the Secretary of Defense?
Well, I don't have a view on.
Okay. Do you, assuming that he has that view, I'm curious about whether you are the CIA director. Okay, this has happened. We know it's happened. Did Jeff Goldberg somehow, did he create a hoax that allowed him to become part of this Signal thread? Please answer the question. You don't insult the intelligence of the American people. Did he invite himself to the Signal thread?
I don't know how he was invited, but clearly he was added.
Clearly it was. Finish your sentence, please.
Clearly he was added to the Signal group. Your question is,
you don't know that the president's national security advisor invited him to join the Signal thread? Everybody in America knows that. Does the CIA director not know that?
I've seen conflicting reports about who added the reporter to the Signal
messaging
messaging
that it's
group.
Perfectly appropriate that there was a reporter added, especially one that the Secretary of Defense says is deceitful, highly discredited, a so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes over and over again. Is your testimony that it was appropriate that he was added to this Signal thread?
No, of course not. And
why did you not call?
Hold on, Senator.
You're
mischaracterizing my testimony.
You answered the question. Let me ask you. When he was added to the thread, you're the CIA director. Why didn't you call out that he was present on the Signal thread?
I don't know if you use Signal messaging app.
I do. Not for classified information, not for targeting.
Well, neither do I, Senator. Neither do I, Senator.
Well, that's what your testimony is today.
It absolutely is not, Senator. Were you not listening at the beginning?
No.
When I said that I was using it as permitted, it is permissible to use.
I agree that's your testimony.
Yeah.
I agree that's your testimony. You asked me if I use it, and I said not for targeting, not for classified information.
And I said I don't either.
I also know Jeff Goldberg. I don't use it to communicate with him. But you thought it was appropriate. By the way, I think he's one of the more outstanding journalists in America.
Of course you do.
I'm shocked to find him on a thread that he's reading in the parking lot of a grocery store in Washington, D.C., and your testimony.
It's probably because Jeff Goldberg's an intelligence asset. That's why he gets all these frickin' scoops. And the more I listen to this smells rotten as crap. Day-old crap.
As the director of the CIA, is that it's totally appropriate.
No.
Is it appropriate?
No, the director, that is not what I.
Okay,
when did I say it was?
Please.
When did I use the word appropriate?
Well, go ahead, please.
Well, I didn't.
That everybody in America.
So clearly,
there's nothing to
Senator,
see here is what your testimony is.
No, I never said
that.
that.
This is just a normal day at the CIA where we chat about this kind of stuff over Signal. In fact, it's so normal that the last administration left it here for us. That's your testimony today.
That's your testimony.
No, that's
Senator.
not my testimony. That's what you said.
I didn't say any of those things that you just related, Senator.
I heard you say it. We'll let the American people decide. Let me ask you one final point. I'm out of time.
It. Well, are you going to give me a chance?
Is it appropriate? Did you know that the president's Middle East advisor was in Moscow on this thread while you were, as director of the CIA, participating in this thread? Were you aware of that? Are you aware of that today?
I'm not aware of that
today. This sloppiness, this incompetence, this disrespect for our intelligence agencies and the personnel who work for them is entirely unacceptable. It's an embarrassment.
Senator,
you need to do better. You need to do better.
272-9228. Oh, this stinks. No, it really does stink to high heaven. Especially with Ratcliffe saying, I've seen conflicting reports of who added Jeff Goldberg.
Yeah, like having been on a Signal thread with multiple people, you see the other numbers on there, and if someone shows up.
Well, and is this Signal in the same way you and I could download it and use it? Is it the exact same software?
Well, I don't
know. The exact same service
I don't know.
Being used on government of.
I don't know if they have a top secret edition.
Well, and this is where I'm like, this stinks.
I had to do a little bit of research on
way too convenient
where Signal actually came from and all that sort of stuff.
We'll see.
Somebody's got some explaining to do.
Well, honestly, I should tell the Democrats to go jump in a lake, as far as I'm concerned. Be better.
Does he not-
No, you already hate him. You're just looking for an excuse to tear this down. I know how this works. Anybody who covers this every day knows how this works. You don't give a crap about the underlying facts. You're just looking for the latest inciting event to tear things down so you can continue the same status quo that's been screwing everybody in this country and screwing over the frickin' world. I'm so tired of these folks that defend the rot in this country, and as soon as they find a mistake, and that's the problem. There's no improvement. There's no long-term thinking. It's just the 24-hour news cycle of the moment. Like this is some serious national security thing.
Has Adam Schiff commented on it yet?
Right. Anyway, I got to hit another break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And they're at Montgomery Men's Health. Well, they can help you fellas out. They can help you men out, especially if you've been feeling the symptoms of low testosterone. And that could be you're not sleeping well. Like your sleep patterns are all screwed up, loss of muscle mass, unwanted weight gain. You're just always tired, like mentally and physically. You just have no motivation, including no sex drive to speak of. Well, this very well could point to low T. And the providers there at Montgomery Men's Health will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And Montgomery Men's Health has low T treatments that can truly change lives. Men can experience, after treatment, higher energy, better gains in the gym. That's right, brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, and you usually even notice after treatment an increased libido. So call them up today. You can actually book the same day that you call. 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or you can go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
We all want access to care and coverage we need to stay healthy, but Farm Bureau health plans aren't the answer. They are unregulated and unreliable when it comes to covering you and your family. If you have cancer or another pre-existing condition, well, you'd be out of luck. Alabama deserves better than empty promises. Call your state legislator now and tell them to vote no on Farm Bureau health plans. Visit fightcancer.org/Alabama. It's time for real health insurance.
Paid for by the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Papa B. Hey, Papa B, how you doing?
All right. Everybody calm down.
No. I don't feel like
all
calming
right.
down.
You know, I've told you before I like Judge Napolitano, but I always have some problems with him. And one of my problems is he's ready. His mind is like a bear trap, dude. Just ready to snap on it. Oh, it's a felony. Oh, people need to be held accountable. Well, you know, is he sure that he's in possession of all the facts? Maybe he could say something like, if this is true, then that, or this appears to be, you know, no. the whole thing's going to blow up now. That's his take. I mean, I don't want to be the one to give the benefit of the doubt to everybody or anything, but I tend to try to say, well, innocent until proven guilty, I guess, which I don't think is a bad way to go. Anybody that knows anything about Sun Tzu, Art of War 101, war is all about deception. And when I read something like this, or when I hear something like this, the first thing I think of is, yeah, it might be an operation to disinformation or information. I don't know. It might just be something like that. It sure does sound suspicious, that here's this apparently controversial newsman, media guy that's somehow all of a sudden included in something. It just doesn't sound right. Maybe it is ham-handed. I don't know. I don't know that either. But I think we're not maybe even going to know everything about it for just a little while anyway. So before anybody goes for the jugular on something like this, it might be best to step back and wait for the events to unfold first.
Oh, sure. This is why I think it stinks to high heaven, too, because I if you're going to take Jeffrey Goldberg as gospel, who was added, and maybe that's what he believes, that Mike Waltz, maybe that's like he is telling the truth there. I just, this smells. It smells very much. And my willingness to say this doesn't seem right, this seems orchestrated, this, like, I use this evidence for that instinct the last 5-10 years.
Very much so. Again, I don't really want to be, tending to always give the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, shouldn't we at least give some? Do we know all the facts? Are we sure? No. Everybody's like, hang them. Let's throw them in and hang them right now. And that's the way. Then you said it before. This is what some people look for. It's like,
of course,
we want everything to keep on going the way it's going, and this is the first thing we've seen, so we're going to latch onto it like a bulldog.
Right, and if you look at the underlying content, I didn't have really any issue with it. I got to run, Papa B. I appreciate the call as always, man. Second hour coming up, we have Ashley from Pest Pro Services joining us for a business break after the break.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Jason Walker. President Trump downplaying the sharing of Yemen attack plans to a group chat that apparently included a journalist. Lawmakers criticized the incident as a serious national security breach, but the president says it didn't turn out to be a serious matter. He's also expressing confidence in his national security advisor. 5 high-level officials at the CDC are leaving. This means close to a third of the agency's top management leaving or has recently left. The announcements come one day after the White House announced it is nominating Susan Menares to be the CDC director. Aid groups in Sudan say a military airstrike hit a local market in the country's western region earlier in the day, igniting a huge fire. At least 54 people were killed. This is SRN News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare, and I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please Don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-613-5454. 800-613-5454. 800-613-5454.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Hiring experienced truck drivers right now. They offer Blue Cross Blue Shield, 401k, and per diem. They've been in business since 1959, and they're still growing strong. Call recruiting now at 855-777-9785. Wiley Sanders Truck Line.
Rich Thomas weather.
Hi, everybody. It's a rather remarkable forecast for the rest of the work week. Nearly perfect today. Mostly sunny, little breezy, high temperature up to about 81. Clear skies tonight, overnight low 52. More sun Wednesday and Thursday with near 80 on Wednesday, upper 70s on Thursday. Even nice weather on Friday with mostly sunny skies, high temperature up to about 81. Clouds increasing on Saturday and maybe another severe weather threat on Sunday. It's possible. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. A Montgomery man has been charged with first-degree assault after a police officer was seriously injured. 33-year-old Timothy Blunt is accused of dragging a Montgomery police officer with a four-wheeler ATV in the area of West Patton Avenue and South Court Street on Sunday afternoon. Blunt is also charged with possession of a pistol with a machine gun conversion device. According to the 2024 New and Expanding Industry Announcement Report, Alabama received $7 billion in new capital investments, generating more than 8,500 career opportunities for Alabamians. Governor Kay Ivey emphasized that the data results reinforce Alabama's position as a premier destination for business and job creation. The person killed in a Sunday evening three-vehicle crash on Troy Highway has been identified. The wreck happened in the 4200 block of Troy Highway near Green Thumb Nursery, where 44-year-old Daryl Brooks was killed in the crash. 3 other victims were taken to area hospitals for treatment of injuries. The cause of the accident remains under investigation. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
The 21st Annual Autism Crawfish Boil, benefiting Easter Seals of Central Alabama, is April 5th at Riverwalk Stadium. Proceeds from this fun family event benefit autism programs at Easter Seals of Central Alabama. Enjoy all-you-can-eat crawfish, live music, and even a baseball game. The Autism Crawfish Boil, April 5th at Riverwalk Stadium. Stay and eat or grab them and go. Scan or visit mudbugball.com to purchase tickets and get info on curbside pickup.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Welcome back to the program. And folks, as I was in the middle of bellyache and yelling and screaming over this latest story having to do with the signal group text of all these high-level people in the Trump administration, I looked out the window and I saw the smiling face of Ashley of Pest Pro Services. Ashley, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's refreshing. I need to get away. The news is driving me nuts today. But I want to tell folks the latest with Pest Pro. Of course, we've been telling them termite season. We're in the middle of it, the thick of it. Mosquito season, especially as it warms up. But y'all have, say, a different approach to how folks can sign up for y'all services now.
Absolutely. We started at the beginning of the year to go into subscription-based servicing to make our great services even more affordable now. So instead of having an initial service cost, you just start out at $40 a month for pest control. And the great thing is the more services you add, the bigger the opportunity to save. So it's truly bundle your services and save.
So the basic pest control, like coming in, is $40 a month.
Starts at $40 a month. We have our mosquito service that now includes fleas and ticks for $50 a month. And then you can have termite coverage for as low as $20 a month.
And so, like, as people bundle all these together, the monthly cost, as if you were just going to do them all separate, goes down.
It goes down. When you bundle 2 services, you get 5% off each month. When you bundle all 3 services, you receive 10% off.
Fantastic. And I did not know that now you include tick and fleas. With the mosquitoes are bad enough, but especially if people got pets that are hanging out in the backyard all the time.
Absolutely. That's called our Fight the Bite plan. So we want to help you take back your backyard from all those pesky pests that bite you throughout the summertime.
Now, I encourage folks, I'd say just go ahead and do the bundle. Like,
Absolutely.
seriously. Especially with termites. I know folks might be thinking, well, do I want to get rid of Netflix? Do I want to, I know folks are trying to decide where to put their dollar these days, but especially with termites, you're playing with fire, a really expensive problem if you let them start eating into your property.
It is definitely a matter of when you get them, not if.
And we always point out the horror story that might occur. I've never seen a termite swarm in person. Have you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I want to tell everyone, when you see a swarm of termites, it's not necessarily a bad thing. That just means we're at the beginning of an infestation. Okay. Those are reproductive termites. They're not causing damage to your home. They're reproducing to make the workers that actually cause the damage to your home.
Okay. Thank God. It might give somebody a heart attack.
It can be scary, but just know they can't live outside of the ground for more than about 2 hours. And after that, they die off. So a lot of times you go to work and you come home and you see that first initial swarm. And it's super scary because it's up to thousands of the termites that you find dead.
Well, and with mosquitoes, not only fighting the bite, but the mosquitoes, if you've built up, say, a nice backyard, and you got the pool, maybe you got a pergola, whatever you got going on back there, and you actually want to enjoy this backyard you put together, I always thought it was absurd of let me just spray myself.
Right.
Or light a candle. That doesn't work.
Well, and those ingredients, you don't even know what they are, and you're putting them on your body, where we could treat the actual foliage and get to where the root of the problem is, and, make your backyard more enjoyable, and you don't have to worry about your child being bit, and you don't have to spray stuff on your kid anymore. This is a better alternative to that.
So let's say I'm a customer, I'm bundling it all together. How often, for say the mosquito, the ticks, the fleas, the termites, and the pest control baseline, how often y'all coming to see me and look at the property?
For pest control, we come out 4 times a year. We're still using our 3-part process on the pest control services. Our callback rate is 2% or less. The national callback rate is above 6%. Mosquito wise, we're coming out 8 times a year, March through October, to get that barrier out each month. Mosquitoes can breed every 10 days, so we really need to stay on top of that. And then as far as your termite coverage, we're going to do that initial treatment, and then we'll be back a year later to do your annual inspection.
Right, just checking, make sure nothing is developed in that year.
Absolutely.
Well, I love that. I think it should give you peace of mind. And when it's a regular monthly payment, like you do other regular monthly payments, your home's secure and stable. I imagine there are some guys out there well, I walked my property and it's fine. It's not that simple.
It's always the people that say I don't have termites that have termites.
That scares me, man. The mound of termites, to know you could not have that with a monthly fee and everybody just...
Right. Yeah, just save yourself a big headache. And yes, you're saving money by doing the monthly plan. You really are, because you don't want that problem jumping up. But one thing I also love about what y'all do, Ashley, is not just that y'all are great at pest control and a great local business. I love how much y'all give back. I know you support other small business owners, other folks in the local community, but I also love this Athlete of the Week that y'all are doing.
Yeah, this is our 4th year doing Pest Pro Player of the Week. Each Friday, we award a varsity baseball and a varsity softball player for their accolades for the previous week. It's just kind of bringing some recognition to those spring sports. Sometimes they get overlooked throughout the year.
And so if folks want to nominate somebody, I've been saying just direct message y'all on Facebook or.
Yeah, absolutely. You can just send us a message at Pest Pro Services on Facebook. You can email me directly, Ashley at ppsriverregion.com. Just send me their name, grade, their stats, and a picture, please, so we can make sure we get their face out there and get them the full recognition they deserve.
Now, often it'll be somebody just had an incredible game, but I'd imagine there's the occasional, like, just what a great story. Like, it was a good show of leadership or sportsmanship. That sort of stuff always happens.
We're starting to see that more and more. We're starting to see, sending the GPAs, and we've got, kids with 4.0s, and they're hitting 595 for the week. So they're just all around great student athletes that deserve that recognition.
Well, folks, you got to work with Pest Pro Services. The number's still 265-9990.
That's it.
265-9990. When you want to know, call a pro. That's Pest Pro Services. And you've been listening to Ashley. She's the mind and the effort behind it. It started with you and Zach?
It started with 3 of us, Zach, Jacob, and myself. And we have 10 others with us now, plus me.
And I love the wrap jobs on the trucks. Those
Thank you.
Great. Look fantastic. Always makes me smile when I see them driving by me. And did I miss anything before I let you go?
I think you covered it all.
Well, great seeing you, Ashley.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Now we get back to yelling about politics. Y'all stay tuned.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Since 1966, Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches has been more than just a place to stay. It's been a place to belong. For children facing hardships through no fault of their own, our ranches provide more than shelter. We offer a warm home, a loving family, and a future filled with hope. With open arms, we welcome these young hearts, giving them the love, structure, and guidance they need to heal, grow, and thrive in a warm Christian environment. Together, we can give Alabama's children the chance they deserve, a chance to dream, to succeed, and to feel truly cherished. Every donation stays within Alabama, directly impacting the lives of the children who need it most. Join us in making a difference. Visit AlabamaSheriffsYouthRanches.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and download our app from your app store. We'd be honored to have you as a part of our mission to lift up Alabama's youth. And remember this, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Adams Drugs has been committed to the healthcare of the people of the River Region for over 62 years. We value the trust each customer has in our pharmacists, techs, and entire staff. If you have not experienced the difference of Adams Drugs and are not satisfied with the customer service that you get in the big box stores, we invite you to visit any of our locations and see how committed we are to your satisfaction. Adams Drugs offers a variety of services that you will not find in all pharmacies in the River Region. Personalized compounding, area-wide delivery, wellness screenings, immunizations, medication consultations, and specialized packaging, just to name a few. Visit us at our website, adamsdrugs.net, and find the location nearest you. Adams Drugs has 12 convenient locations to serve you. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Adams Drugs is your local Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Always great seeing Ashley there from Pest Pro Services. And our conversation continues, just spitballing, thinking, what the heck is this story? Trump gave a phone interview to NBC News this morning saying Michael Waltz has learned a lesson and he's a good man. When Trump was asked what he was told about how Goldberg came to be added to the Signal chat, Trump said, quote, "It was one of Michael's people on the phone. A staffer had his number on there." Who the hell is that staffer?
Why would he have his phone during that exchange?
But the president went on to express confidence in his team, saying he was not frustrated by the events leading up to the Atlantic story. The situation, Trump said, was, quote, "the only glitch in 2 months, and it turned out not to be a serious one." And that's what I was just saying to you off air. It's like, how does this affect everyday Americans' lives? Did it affect the operation? No.
Mm-mm.
So I still, part of me
Well,
is just, me and a lot of other people have been bitten so much by these sort of intel stories that I still don't trust the face of it.
okay, well,
Like, who the heck is the staffer then that did this?
right. So that's how it impacts us. If it's the deep state still doing nefarious things and trying to nick out the president, then we should all be alarmed, because then we got much larger issues still.
In a statement about the incident, the National Security Council said the thread, quote, "is a demonstration of the deep and thoughtful policy coordination between senior officials. The ongoing success of the Houthi operation demonstrates that there are no threats to our service members or our national security." And honestly, as I was taking away, and again, remember, it's Jeffrey Goldberg writing all this, I'm like, as far as the actual content of the conversation, I wasn't. It's a Rorschach test like anything else in politics, but I was kind of like, yeah, that's what I would expect high-level people, how they would talk about something like this.
Again, your presence is still what we need to discuss here, Mr. Reporter.
Yeah, oh yeah. So here's Tom Cotton on Fox and Friends trying to do some cleanup.
Can I just say the irony that the reporters burying the lead is, not lost on me.
Yeah, here we go.
Many people in the intelligence community use Signal. They have communication all the time. Is that not correct?
Lawrence, that is correct. In fact, I bet a bunch of those senators that you see at the hearing today are using Signal as well to speak to each other or to speak to their aides. And it is my understanding that the Biden administration authorized Signal as a means of communication that was consistent with presidential record-keeping requirements for its administration, and that continued into the Trump administration. It's simply another messaging app like the iMessage app on your iPhone or email servers that every administration has set up, in which senior administration officials can communicate with each other.
So this is going to continue. I'm looking for, you were asking, has Waltz himself, the National Security Advisor, said anything? I have not seen any of that just yet. I'm sure we will. But here is Waltz, just kind of to give you a sense of like, okay, you got to see the inside conversation, especially like, how do we sell this to the American people? And anytime somebody admits that we're selling, it's always like, oh, you're lying. It's like, come on.
You're pitching it to the American people.
Yeah, like you're
trying to get one over.
Why you just tell us the truth? Are you an idiot? The American people, I'm starting to sound like a few good men. You can't handle the truth.
Well, we need you on that wall, Joe.
Well, because the naked truth can be interpreted in so many different ways. This is
Yeah.
why the PR spin is always an aspect of it. If you just put like WikiLeaks, you just put everything out, people are going to see 1,000 different things from the same exact text.
But I'd rather have that than have it presented to 1,000 different people, so filtered and presented in a way that it's propaganda and just, hey, here's your conclusion, folks.
I'm just saying that propaganda is inbuilt. It's kind of a human nature thing, and how power works, for good or ill. I tend to think our over-reliance on politics and power is definitely for the ill. It's a necessary evil, right? It's interesting how over the years, since Thomas Paine wrote those words and the revolution happened, that the definition of necessary has expanded to include all sorts of evil.
And
it's fascinating.
To what level of evil? Like the 7th degree of hell evil? I mean,
but here is National Security Advisor Waltz after the strikes were taking place. I think this is over the weekend.
Well, we've taken out key Houthi leadership, including their head missileer. We've hit their headquarters. We've hit communications nodes, weapons factories, and even some of their over-the-water drone production facilities. Just in the last couple of days, President Trump has decided to hit the Houthis and hit them hard, as opposed to in the last administration where literally weeks or months would go by.
This literally tracks with what Hegseth said.
You know, I do want to point out, I think who was Massey who pointed out like this operation was coming.
Thomas Massey. Yeah,
we have a $50 billion shortfall now that we're not engaged in so many conflicts. Like we got to make that up to the war machine somehow.
Yeah, that was the logic.
So, to your point, if the war machine needed some of this to happen, you know.
Yeah, but there's also a great argument of we can't let this ragtag group shut down shipping lanes.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not disagreeing with that.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, we shouldn't care who runs Yemen. We shouldn't have helped under Obama and some under Trump, the Houthis. Like we shouldn't have helped Saudi Arabia bomb the crap out of the Houthis forever. Like these things were like never ending. Who's going to be the regime? It was a constant regime change thing. Initially, it's like, well, we got to fight Al Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. Well, and then the Houthis come over. Oh no, Iran's proxies are there. It's like, let's stop it with we knock down one leader, put up another one. Let's have actually achievable goals. And I think a simple goal of stop shooting at commercial shipping coming through the straits, or we're going to destroy you. It's a pretty achievable goal.
Very simple idea.
Yes.
Y'all stop shooting at boats. We stop killing.
Right. Very simple goal.
Easy.
Now, we'll see how easy it is. But let's keep going with Waltz here, just to give a sense, because you got to see behind the curtain. And it wasn't just Hegseth. It also, you had Stephen Miller in there. You had J.D. Vance. And Vance, in my book, looks the best. He thought we shouldn't do this, or we should at least delay it because the Europeans should play for this. The response from Hegseth and Waltz is like the United States is the only nation with the capabilities of actually doing it.
Do you know who the screenshot's phone came from?
Jeffrey Goldberg.
Goldberg's.
Yeah. Jeffrey Goldberg.
Because I was curious if we had one of the other participants to see Goldberg's number on their screenshot.
No, we don't have any of that. We just have Goldberg's in.
Okay.
One-off pinprick attacks, and as a result, we've had one of the world's most critical sea lanes get shut down. I mean, these guys are like Al Qaeda or ISIS with advanced cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, and some of the most sophisticated air defenses, all provided by Iran. So everybody understands the impact here. The last time one of our destroyers went through the straits there, it was attacked 23 times. 75% of our U.S. flagged shipping now has to go around the southern coast of Africa rather than going through the Suez Canal. And keeping the sea lanes open, keeping trade and commerce open is a fundamental aspect of our national security. The last administration was not effective. The Trump administration and President Trump have decided to do something much harder, much tougher, and what we'll see, but I think will be much more effective.
Yeah, and you saw in the group chat, they said the main reasons for doing this is, we should have, it's been a key part of American foreign policy for decades, of you keep the freedom of navigation and shipping lanes in particular open. And number two, Biden really screwed up it's not just blame Biden for stuff. They genuinely believe, and I think it's also true, that he he lost a lot of the deterrence factor, because if they know, oh, we're going to shoot at ships, and all that happens is maybe that one launcher we use gets blown up, then we'll just keep, well, okay, we lost a launcher, we'll get another one, and we'll just shoot some more. It didn't actually deter them from doing much of anything.
Now, in that aspect, I do agree
Yeah.
with blame President Ice Cream Cone.
Yes. President Ice Cream Cone. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, thanks for letting me on. I just want to pile on with what you're going on with the journalist. This is my question. The journalist accidentally got in the thread. The thread was talking about things that we would present to the president. President done said, no matter what happened, it didn't affect the operations because we done slapped it. You see what I'm saying?
But he was not accidentally in the thread. It was no accident that he was there.
Okay.
Well, it might be an accident. It might not be.
No.
We don't know. We're speculating here. We don't know.
Okay.
Somebody
Spitballing,
or the deep state allowed him access. One of the two.
Yeah, either somebody really
Okay.
fat-fingered it and well, JG, that's not Jeffrey Goldberg. Yeah, JG's an important guy.
In that case, I might allow someone to say the poor assistant being thrown under the bus here that is going to have to take the blame for this.
Oh, and can you imagine if that's actually true?
No, it's not true.
You don't think it's true?
You think someone's going to be, hey, the president's discussing some war stuff. I'm going to bowl this, this lane real quick. Why don't you hold my phone and let me know if it's not something important happens? Like, no, the dude did not turn over his phone while that conversation was being had. I hope.
Well, this is what I wanted to say is we've all worked in the office. People in that office can talk. That reporter accidentally or what have you got access. You know what's refreshing is they didn't come out and deny it. They just said that's not the war plan. And it obviously wasn't. You know why? Because, like the president said, they got smacked down. It didn't affect. But this is my question. What, say you're a journalist. What in the hell makes you think you accidentally got into a conversation that you shouldn't talk about, and then in your journalistic, I got my cape on, I'm doing the world a whole lot of good, to come out and say that shit?
Whoa. You can't say words like that, Robert. And any journalist worth their salt would have run with this story. Give me a break.
Kudos to you on the reflexes there, host.
272-9228. No, I think Jeffrey Goldberg, this was laid in his lap, and he would be an idiot not to run.
I mean, that's one of the questions that we have for each other. Like, what would you release? I think you would either have to release it in its entirety, including how you got on there, and back that up, and just let it stand as is. Or me personally, like I said, I'd redact the what and show the players involved.
272-9228. Let's go to line 4. You're on there. Who's this?
This is Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I've been thinking about it. I've got like 20 years of military service, and me personally,
yes, sir,
I think it's possible that they could have personally leaked this stuff to someone they knew was going to release it, but at the same time, and then keep an eye on them to see if they have any more hidey holes, and they get some more targets to go after.
So Waltz maybe gives a certain staffer like, you get this responsibility, and it was sort of a test of somebody.
They were testing to see where the leaks would be.
Yeah, that, and also it could be they're trying to find, where are the Houthis going, and so you release this stuff, but you can't just release it on like Fox News because then they'll obviously looks like a leak on purpose. So you leak it to someone who doesn't like you. They leak it, they find out, they go hide somewhere else. And now the government's watching where they go.
As a military
and
man,
now they're finding new hidey holes.
Would we be more concerned about the Houthi or the Iranians?
I definitely keep an eye on the Iranians, I think. But But I mean, as far as this operation goes, they're going after the Houthis, and they're wanting to find all their hidey holes. So I think it would make sense to release it, see where they go, and then you can find more hidey holes.
Hey, also, as a military guy, other than Signal, what other sort of private, or I didn't know Signal was a nonprofit organization, but what other sort of non-DOD platforms, that civilians have, do you guys also use?
I mean, kind of the same stuff, it's nothing operational wise is put on anything. And, they'll use your phone chat to call people, say, hey, be here, do this, but nothing like real important classified goes on any kind of civilian stuff like that.
Makes sense to me. And, well, I appreciate you giving this insight and your perspective. I'm just, I don't know. I look at this and I'm like, it doesn't, the way it's being presented, the face of it, I'm like, there's more to this makeup job. I'm wondering what exactly is the play here.
I want to know more about how, getting back to the origin of Biden authorizing Signal as being acceptable. For Signal to be created in 2018 and not have a longstanding track record of being able to conduct in the House this kind of information, I mean, that's kind of scary to know that some high-level conversations from top military and government officials were being conducted on such a young business or young technology. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, well, hopefully the encryption's as good as they say it is.
Right, and that's got me wondering. I mean, at the highest levels, say national, the NSA or the CIA. I mean, how much of these sort of proprietary apps have backdoors?
Where did the seed money come from?
Like, I like to believe with my iPhone, Apple keeps the information, and the government hates that they won't unlock things. But
you mean these servers that they're using to share?
Right. Who knows? So, well, I appreciate the call, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Thank you.
272-9228. I'm looking for anything lately, but I think Trump's sort of like, yeah, mistake, but what, the Houthis are still shaking in their boots, and seriously, if you read through what at least Jeffrey Goldberg presents, I'm like, the problem is he's seeing it, but what he's seeing, I'm like, well, that's what kind of I expect folks at the top level of all the agencies involved in the strike to say.
But it's interesting. I mean, who's talking about this today, right now? Us. I mean, earlier this morning, I was listening to some of the other side of the aisle, and man, they were just all over some judges. I mean, all they could talk about were judges and judge race in Wisconsin. And, we got to take back the courts because, Trump's just getting away with bloody murder and everything else.
Oh, yeah. No, the fight will continue.
I'm just interested to see how long it takes before they realize that this is something that is an opportunity for them.
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing. Great folks there at Cole Plumbing, ready to help you with any and all of your plumbing needs. It could be an everyday issue, like clogged drain, low water pressure. Maybe you want to install a new accessory, like a new garbage disposal in the kitchen, or maybe you want a taller toilet in the bathroom or a nicer one. Maybe new accessories to the shower. Whatever you can think of. Maybe it's time for a new, say, water heater. You want to go tankless. They can help you with that there at Cole Plumbing. And of course, if you have a big old leak or a big old problem, like do I smell gas? They can help you with gas line leaks. They can help you with a big old water leak inside or outside your home, and they can get the job done with precision and expertise without tearing out a bunch of drywall inside, which makes just a big, chalky, muddy mess, or dig up a huge hole in your yard. No, with precision and expertise, they can find that big leak and, put an end to it. Y'all check out Cole Plumbing today. You can always go to coleplumbing.com or just call them up at 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl,
call on Cole.
We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
If you're struggling with ED or your performance is down and your belly fat is growing, listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act.
At Montgomery Men's Health, we're not just healthcare. We're your secret weapon. Don't wait another day. Here's why you need to act right now.
Every moment you delay, your condition could worsen. It's not just about sex, it's about your heart, your relationship, your life.
Montgomery Men's Health has years of proven results for ED and low T. We've introduced treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited.
Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who've walked out of our doors with a swagger.
Call Montgomery Men's Health at 334-440-3663 or visit montgomerymenshealth.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now. Dial 334-440-3663 or visit montgomerymenshealth.com. Montgomery Men's Health, making it happen.
The Tears family has been your local Roto-Rooter service since 1964. Drain cleaning, plumbing repair, and those troublesome septic tanks, no problem. Technology has changed a bit in the last 54 years. Video inspections of lines to locate problems is available, as well as scheduling your appointment online. River Region residents have trusted Roto-Rooter for over half a century. You can too. Call today at 272-7130 or visit online at rotorooteralabama.com.
Call Roto-Rooter, that's the name. And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. Call 800-335-2299. That's 800-335-2299.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by MPM Feed and Seed. It's time to get those gardens ready. From seeds to plants to fertilizer, MPM has what you need. Shop MPM Feed and Seed in Prattville, 1313 Highway 31 North. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturdays, 8 to 1.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. It's a rather remarkable forecast for the rest of the work week. Nearly perfect today, mostly sunny, little breezy, high temperature up to about 81. Clear skies tonight, overnight low 52. More sun Wednesday and Thursday with near 80 on Wednesday, upper 70s on Thursday. Even nice weather on Friday with mostly sunny skies, high temperature up to about 81. Clouds increasing on Saturday and maybe another severe weather threat on Sunday. It's possible. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. There are a few other things going on in the world. And what I want to focus in on is just some oddball stories to sort of get us ready for the final hour coming up.
Okay.
So we're not just speculating over the latest with national security concerns or whatnot. This is from across the pond at The Guardian, so maybe it's just a British thing. But I don't know.
I'm not putting milk in it.
The headline, under the cosmetic surgery section of The Guardian, what a section. The headline reads, "The sudden, surprising rise of beard transplants. This industry is a wild west. Demand for facial hair surgery is soaring. Despite the dangers that lurk in an unregulated industry, are the risks worth it for the chance of a thicker, fuller beard, the Guardian asks.
In a related story, a lot of low T men in Europe.
Of all the teenage anxieties that can take root, beard growth, or the lack of it, was one that really got Vikram Aurora. What's up? How's it shaking, Vikram? His facial hair was patchier than a drought-hit lawn, and by the time he went to college, he was very self-conscious. You'd have older guys coming in with a bit of stubble, and it was almost this guilty secret where I'd be thinking, I wish I could have that, he says. It was the 90s, and George Michael's sculpted goatee was everywhere. Vikram, who is 47 and lives in Essex, remembers being racked with envy as he admired Tom Ford's designer stubble in a photo in a clothes shop. At one point, he took to stealing his sister's mascara wand in an attempt to fill in the gaps.
That's when Dad started to have questions.
When Vikram started a career in finance in London, facial hair wasn't permitted in his workplace, but in the early aughts, he says beards started to creep into the city as part of a wider outbreak of pogonophilia, love of beards. We could just say love of beards. By 2010, Jason Statham, Idris Elba, and David Beckham had become beard guys. At one point, 3/4 of Take That were bearded. Beards were even more trendy, and I still had these sort of patchy whiskers, recalls Vikram, who resented having to shave every day lest his sparse coverage reveal itself. Through most of my teens and early adulthood, I was left feeling that I didn't look mature enough and definitely not masculine enough. I feel as if I almost don't need to ask Vikram what triggered the decision to do something about his facial hair deficit. For millions of people, the pandemic lockdowns in 2020 and 2021 created the compelling combination of spare time and disposable income, along with the harsh mirror of endless video calls. Demand soared for a whole gallery of aesthetic tweaks and surgical interventions. Vikram had heard about beard transplants a few years earlier. As much as he longed for facial hair, he also feared what might go wrong, that he would be judged for having had surgery. Come lockdown, which also prompted a surge in bigger, fuller beards, he was researching them obsessively. Eventually, I said, I'm going in for a consultation. Vikram ended up meeting Nadine Khan, whose Harley Street Hair Clinic in central London has been doing hair transplants for more than 15 years. Beard procedures follow the same principle. Surgeons use a needle to pull hairs or follicular units, typically from thicker areas of hair at the back of the head. These grafts can then be inserted into less hairy areas of the scalp or face via tiny cuts in the skin. Sounds like fun. Khan, the clinic's chief executive, says follicular unit extraction was initially used only for beards on victims of trauma, such as soldiers with shrapnel wounds. His clinic would have half a dozen such patients a year. But his awareness of hair transplanting grew, thanks in part to celebrities such as Wayne Rooney, who restored his hairline in 2011. Interest in beard restoration started to rise before booming in the pandemic. There are no industry stats, but Khan says inquiries from beard patients have tripled since 2020. That sounds like a stat to me. His surgeons now do up to 100 transplants a year, 90% of which are aesthetic. The rest are fixes for scars or burns. Costs at his clinic range from 3,000 euros to 7,000 euros, depending on the number of grafts. I think there's this new form of masculinity where the beard has become important, and now every man wants to be like Gerard Butler in 300. I'm going to keep reading this, but this is like, if you have to go... No!
What?
No! Vikram, if you did this, you're a woman!
Oh, Lord, don't tell me. That's too far, Vikram.
But anyway, Vikram met Khan and one of his surgeons, Greg Vita, in 2022. In early summer 2023, Vita moved 780 follicles from the back of Vikram's head and planted them in his face. I'm going to read that sentence again. In early 2023, Vita moved 780 follicles from the back of Vikram's head and planted them in his face. Just over 5,000 euros poorer, he went home with slightly reddened, swollen features. Maybe that's pounds. I don't know the abbreviation for foreign currencies. It's all about the dollar and Bitcoin, folks. But he was reddened, swollen features and waited to see the results. Vikram's fears about what could go wrong were well placed. Rising demand for hair restoration has created a minefield for prospective and often vulnerable patients. Slick websites and social media accounts can obscure dodgy practices and sometimes scant observation of the regulations governing this type of work. Meanwhile, clinics and transplant tourism hotspots such as Turkey have mushroomed, offering package deals that can cost a fraction of procedures in the UK. Any hair restoration clinic in England must be registered with the Care Quality Commission. Registration includes inspections, but there is no formally recognized training nor any law that prohibits, for example, a clinic bringing costs down by allowing one doctor to oversee multiple transplants carried out by less qualified technicians. Wait, so you got to register, but we have no real rules. Just register with us. Pay us.
You know, there's going to be so many good stories that come from this.
It's still a wild west, this industry, says Spencer Stevenson, a prominent mentor for balding men. Of all the things in life, like you become sir, you're a guru, you're a mentor. And like, what do you? Well, I help bald guys.
I'm a consultant.
He is known online as Specs. Stevenson says beard transplants are technically challenging. Head hair can be finer and softer than facial hair. Well, there's hair elsewhere.
I was going to say, go in for a beard transplant and get a bikini wax along the way.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to go that low. You can just do the belly. Requiring careful blending of hairs into thin or patchy areas to achieve a uniform look. The stakes are higher. You can have a bad hair transplant and sometimes get away with it. But with a beard, it's a whole new kettle of fish because it's on your face. You can't put a hat on it. You can, but you can't really see. Evidence of male insecurity around facial hair abounds online, where any prospective transplant patient starts his journey. Reddit's public beards message board has 1.2 million anonymous members. Most posts feature images of fabulously bushy beards and maintenance tips, but it's also a place where the less confident seek advice. In one typical post, a man with a big beard asked if he should get a transplant to fill in a gap below his lower lip. I like my beard, but I'm always insecure about this area. I am 24, he says. Dozens of men tell him his beard is great already. Some posters move on to Reddit's hair transplants forum, where there are frequent pictures of completed procedures. One post includes a selfie of what looks like a great beard. Its owner is worried it creeps too high up his cheeks. Am I stuck like this forever? Is there anything I can do to help myself? He asked.
Shave.
Again.
It's called a razor, you dummy.
And then the replies are like supportive. Dude, it looks fantastic. In a separate post, a man asked desperately about transplant reversals. It's possible to pull out or laser bad grafting, but there is a risk of scarring. He lists dozens of problems with his surgery, including scars and poorly matched hair. Talk about a true patchwork. I literally don't recognize myself anymore, he writes. For the first time in my life, I suffer from severe mental health problems. The stupid thing is that I was always happy, clean shaven. I just got greedy and tried to cheat my look. In March last year, Matthew Latour, a 24-year-old student from France, traveled to Istanbul for a beard transplant. For just over €1,000, he received 4,000 grafts from the back of his head. When it started to grow out, it looked like a hedgehog. It was unmanageable, his father, Jacques Latour, told the French broadcaster BFM TV. Stevenson says perfecting the growing angle of transplanted hairs to achieve a natural-looking pattern in a new beard requires skill. Latour's growth was badly mapped and haphazard. His surgeon turned out to be a moonlighting estate agent. Latour took it badly. He was suffering. He wasn't doing well, his father said. He was in pain, suffering from burns, and he couldn't sleep. While a Belgian transplant specialist was in the process of trying to fix Latour's beard, he developed a kind of post-traumatic shock and body dysmorphic disorder, according to his father. 3 months after the botched transplant, he killed himself. Holy crap.
This guy had issues other than not being able to grow facial hair, man.
Yeah. Greg Williams, a former burn surgeon who switched to hair transplants in 2012, says surgery is often not a good option for men with a significant lack of coverage. You think? This is insane.
Anybody who wants to have surgery for anything like that, I think should have to live with a tattoo for a year. I think that should be like a new societal rule.
Okay, there's a guy named here, Frank Fontaine. And
Are
Frank,
these real people, man?
yeah, no, and he did the transplant and he's like, I feel much more confident now.
Frank.
He kind of used to look like a billy goat. Now he looks like
He looks exactly the same, but with a beard.
Yeah.
These people just need to like wait until they're 30 and then they'll grow out of this.
well, he was 32. He felt the surgery wasn't for him, but his father's death in 21 sparked something and he decided to make a change. Well, the death of a parent can do that.
I've never heard a 40-year-old man say, you know, I'm really worried that this beard part right here, it's just not going to grow in. It's always that 24-year-old.
Back in London, Vikram says that Vita deliberately introduced some asymmetry while placing his grafts to avoid the foresty plantation look that can give away a hair transplant. Excuse me. A few weeks after the procedure, he met some friends at a restaurant, having not told them what he had done. I played it cool and didn't want to say anything. And they were just like, what? They were just staring at me saying, bloody hell, looks great. I'll never forget that reaction. I was sitting there thinking, yeah, I pulled it off. One of them has always had a good beard. And even he was like, do you think I can make mine denser?
What'd you do, kid?
Vikram now wears his beard proudly in the office. He regrets the way insecurity can lead men to take such drastic, costly actions, but he sees his own transplant as an investment. I invest in feeling good, and you can't beat that, he says. His wife, however, couldn't understand the fuss. It makes no difference to her, but she can see that I'm happy now. A beard is a small thing for some people, but it has made a really big difference to me, says Vikram.
This is not a real article. I just found the clue.
Not a real article?
Yeah. This is AI generated.
No, this is the Guardian.
His wife said that she did not care.
No, that's what they say publicly.
All right.
That's what they say publicly.
Failed. Close AI. Close.
272-9228. How about this? Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's us?
Joe Dirt.
Hey, Joe Dirt. How you doing?
He's the poster child of patches on that beard, let me tell you. Do you think because of JD Vance, there are more men increasing facial hair in the professional business?
No, I think that I don't think JD started the trend. I think JD was following the trend. And he looks a heck of a lot better, honestly. Go find old photos of JD. He looks he's lost weight and he's grown that beard. He looks a lot better.
I heard Mr. Trump originally didn't like facial hair on APP nominees.
Well, I think he changed his mind because didn't Trump say that's one good-looking son of a bitch there?
The Yankees used to have a rule that they wouldn't let players have facial hair, but they started losing out on some players, and now they allow players to have facial hair.
Was that the Yankees?
Yep. Effective this season.
Yeah, I remember that.
Baseball
well, and I prefer myself personally with facial hair. Like I shaved it back this morning, like trimmed it down, but like I don't like being clean shaven. I don't like how it looks. I'm ugly enough with the beard.
I don't care.
Okay, here's the interesting is that we had a long time when I was in the Air Force, we couldn't have facial hair other than a mustache. And it was really to a point where according to the regulation, you look like a little Hitler by the time you got done, and according to the regs, at the ends have to be cut and this and everything. But now they put facial hair, and they have always in the Navy, because I guess their concept is they're out there in the ocean all the time, and they don't have razor blades, electric blades. That's
some of it.
but
a roommate was in naval intelligence when he was stationed in Kabul. They said grow a beard. Yeah. So some of it was the operations in the Middle East.
Well, it depends. In the middle, when I was in Iraq and Middle East and certain operations, we were allowed to have facial hair.
Right. Or kind of required in some cases, right? You stick out like a sore thumb in the middle of Afghanistan with clean shaven.
I remember the colonel looked at me and he said, Sergeant, Soldier Boy, if you salute me one more time out in this open field, I'm going to kill you.
Said, I'm sorry, Lieutenant Dan.
Man, I just started saluting officers, and he says, we're in a war zone. He said, the first person they're going to take out, it's like Patriot, aim high, shoot low or something. Take the officers out. That's the first thing you're going to do. He said, oh, they're not going to shoot you, Mr. Four Stripes. He was like, he said, I'm not taking you anywhere outside that gate. Because you salute me one more damn time or I'm going to be dead. And I was like, oh, he said, you working with my wife? I go, no, why? I haven't met her. He says, well, it sure sounds like her life is perfect.
Hey, Soldier Boy, give me the one finger salute if you're going to salute me, all right? My goodness gracious.
Well, yeah, well, no, I didn't mean disrespect. I wasn't being disrespectful or anything. But I was just curious, for example, I started to lose my male pattern baldness on my head, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I tell you one thing, as I got older, hair every place else that I didn't want to grow. I mean, your freaking ear, behind your ears. I mean, your chest.
Your nose.
I mean, oh, yeah, I forgot that one. Yeah, you got to trim that baby, too. It turns into a filter for boogers down. No. But it just seems like as you get older, none of that hair grew. As soon as you lost your hair, since we're not going to put any of those hormones into your top of your skin, we're going to give it to everybody else. Because, man, I shave if I don't shave every other day, I mean, let's put it this way. I got a 5 o'clock shadow by 3 o'clock. Okay?
Oh, damn.
It's pretty bad. And it was bad in basic training. I had to shave while I was going through in process in basic training because he says, Soldier Boy, did you shave this morning? I said, yes, sir. And this guy next to him said, yeah, with my roommate, he goes, yeah, he shaved this morning, sir, with a straight razor. He says, my God, get that man an electric razor and you're going to carry it everywhere you go as long as you're in basic training.
But
He says, because you can't go around like that.
Well, I'm looking at myself in the camera here, and like my mustache doesn't connect down here, even when I'd like grow it fairly long. So should I get a beard transplant on just this little spot right here? Would you ever get a beard transplant?
I watched a documentary that made me sick and almost puked and passed out. It was about Russian models and Russian ballerinas.
Uh-huh.
They go in these hospitals, and you have to be a certain height. And she was crying because she missed it by an inch or a half an inch of being a model, okay?
Mm.
You know what they do? They break your freaking leg.
Oh.
And then and then they put pins in it, and they watched. I saw the video how the bones hopefully graft together back at both ends. I was like, holy crap! I wouldn't want to be a model that damn bad.
Mm-mm. Yeah, that's.
But you know how they broke them? This is in 2024. You know how they broke them? With a freaking hammer. He was on a freaking steel table, and the doctor comes in with a freaking hammer. That's high tech.
Well, I've always wanted to be a little taller since Eddie's been making fun of me.
Well, I just know what to watch on Friday night when the date comes over. Thanks for the tip.
Well, Soldier Boy, I got to hit my top of the hour break. I appreciate the call, man.
Hey, remember something? I'm 6'4". By the time I hit that ceiling fan every damn day.
Everything's got its pros and its cons. This entire hour has been brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage, and they're an Alabama Home Mortgage. They're ready to help you whether you're looking to purchase a home. It all starts with pre-approval. Just start a basic conversation with Kim and Madeline there at Alabama Home Mortgage, and they can set you up on here's how much house you can afford. And they'll walk with you every step of the way, all the way to closing day. Of course, they can also help you with a great refinance deal. Say you want to get credit card debt off your back, or maybe you're hitting retirement age and you want to reduce your monthly overhead as you're trying to ease into the, say, golden years of life. Well, they can help you with all of those goals there. Whatever your needs and strategy may be, they can help make sure it's the right approach. Give them a call today. Start the conversation today at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Like Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Jason Walker. Initial reports indicating today the White House saying that Russia and Ukraine have now both agreed to eliminate the use of force in the Black Sea following talks in Saudi Arabia, a sign of progress toward the war-ending peace deal that President Trump is seeking to secure. Mr. Trump is downplaying the apparent sharing of Yemen attack plans to a group chat that included a journalist. Lawmakers criticizing the incident, calling it a very serious national security breach, but the president says it did not turn out to be a, quote, serious matter. At the CDC, 5 high-level officials are on the way out. That means close to a third of the nation's top management leaving or having left recently in the last week or two. This is SRN News.
Financing a home, especially in today's market, is one of the biggest decisions you'll make for your family. Work with a mortgage company that puts you first. I do. Work with a lender founded on biblical principles like do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. I do. It's Mike Gallagher for the only mortgage company I've used for almost a decade now when financing or refinancing Fellowship Home Loans. I'm friends with the owners, Mike and Brian. I even have them on my show occasionally. I know the care their team puts into every single customer. I can personally tell you that it's a smooth, stress-free process, and that's due to Fellowship's level of service and expertise that puts you in the right loan for your family and your goals. There's a reason Fellowship Home Loans is flooded with 5-star reviews. Whether purchasing a home or a cash-out refi to consolidate some higher interest debt, you can trust Fellowship Home Loans. Start the process. Make the call. 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
Rich Thomas Weather, brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Hiring experienced truck drivers right now. They offer Blue Cross Blue Shield, 401k, and per diem. They've been in business since 1959, and they're still growing strong. Call recruiting now at 855-777-9785. Wiley Sanders Truck Line.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. It's a rather remarkable forecast for the rest of the work week. Nearly perfect today, mostly sunny, little breezy, high temperature up to about 81. Clear skies tonight, overnight low 52. More sun Wednesday and Thursday with near 80 on Wednesday, upper 70s on Thursday. Even nice weather on Friday with mostly sunny skies, high temperature up to about 81. Clouds increasing on Saturday and maybe another severe weather threat on Sunday. It's possible. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Whether you're buying a home or auto or consolidating debt, CB&S Bank's personal loans get you where you need to go. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you or apply online today. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
1819 is reacting to the report coming from the Atlantic editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg that somehow Goldberg got included in a Signal chat room between the Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, Vice President J.D. Vance, and other Trump officials. That discussion was over the Houthi rebels in Yemen. Goldberg claims the discussion detailed out upcoming airstrikes by the U.S. against the Houthis. Senator Tuberville called the inclusion of Goldberg in the group chat a mistake and believes that Hegseth will correct it, says it's all part of the positioning. Has to occur for Hegseth defense. However, Hegseth was asked about the group chat on Monday, and here's what he had to say on C-SPAN.
Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about that. Right, Thank you.
I'll be back with more.
I need news, and I need it fast. I turned to Andrea Tice and the Daily Detail. On my way in, it is the most convenient, best way for me to digest what's going on so that I can use it for our show. She tells you what's going on in Alabama that day first and fast. So listen to the Daily Detail with Andrea Tice. Don't miss out.
The Daily Detail is available wherever podcasts are found.
A chapter of the Democratic Socialists of America group is planning to protest Chevron and Texaco gas stations in the Birmingham area as part of their support for Hamas. The Birmingham chapter is accusing the gas companies of fueling genocide in their support of the country of Israel during this conflict with Hamas. Huntsville city leaders are renovating a homeless camp on Derrick Street after a fire ripped through the camp last fall, forcing the homeless to move to another area down the road. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com.
And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Is your business feeling the heat of cyber attacks? Tired of worrying about ransomware, data breaches, downtime, and employee mistakes? GTI Managed IT Solutions has been your trusted partner since 1999, safeguarding and supporting businesses like yours from the ever-evolving threats in the digital world. GTI, your peace of mind is guaranteed. Call us today at 819-4650 or visit gtinow.com.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. You're thinking of selling your home. Here are several ways to improve the look of your home and possibly the value. Number one, improve the curb appeal with trim bushes and cut the grass. Repaint the exterior where needed, and if needed, paint your front door. Number two, declutter the inside of the home by removing items that are not needed off countertops, dressers, and the den. 3, paint walls and trim where needed with a fresh coat of paint in a light color that will show off your home. 4, clean your oven and microwave inside and out, make it shine. Number 5, professionally clean carpets or shine the wood floors with a polish or Bono. 6, clean out all closets or unwanted clothes, shoes, belts, hats, and donate them to a local charity. Finish any leftover repairs now, doorknobs, light bulbs, and closet doors. For a complete list and an in-person evaluation and consultation, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group, 221-2883 or 551-0225.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Byron Sheehy here in the studio with me. And Trump is holding a cabinet meeting and answering questions. They're now saying they're looking into the leaked signal chat. Even Mike Waltz jumped in on the conversation. Let's see if this right here will work.
Executive order ending sanctuary cities.
Mr. President, are you going to change any of the practices that your national security officials used after a reporter was inadvertently added to a group chat about attacks on Yemen?
Well, I think it's a question I've been asked now, and I've given a few answers, and they've all been the same. We have an amazing group. Our national security now is stronger than it's ever been. We have had a very, very successful, numerous attacks on that area. These are people that shoot down ships, not only our ships, ships all over the world. They're shooting down right out of the water and damaging them badly, or they're going down. They're also shooting anything that happens to be flying in the area. We hit them very, very hard. There was no classified information, as I understand it. They used a app, if you want to call it an app, that a lot of people use, a lot of people in government use, a lot of people in the media use. And I think I'll ask Mike. Mike is here. Do you want to respond to that, please?
Here is the guy in question.
You asked about lessons. I think there's a lot of journalists in this city who have made big names for themselves, making up lies about this president, whether it's the Russia hoax or making up lies about Gold Star families. And this one in particular, I've never met, don't know, never communicated with. And we are we are looking into and reviewing how the heck he got into this room. But I'll tell you what, the world owes President Trump a favor. Under Biden, global shipping was shut down. Pinprick attacks, months between them, our destroyers being fired upon dozens of times. President Trump took decisive action with his national security team, took out the head missileer, knocked out missiles, knocked out headquarters, knocked out communication sites. And for once, as we hear, as you all hear from every one of our allies, thank God for American leadership again. Thank God for American strength. You're welcome. And look, we had a national security coordinating these efforts, as Director Radcliffe testified today. His first day on the job, he was introduced to this app on his government systems at the CIA and at the State Department and otherwise. So, look, this journalist, Mr. President, wants the world talking about more hoaxes and this kind of nonsense rather than the freedom that you're enabling. And a key part of our sovereignty is open sea lanes and knocking the crap out of terrorists, which is exactly what your team and Pete Hegseth, a good friend and fellow veteran, is leading the charge on. And it's an honor.
We had a very, very successful, we had a very, very successful evening, and we've had numerous successful evenings and days in that area. The Houthis are absolutely on the run. The worst of them have been killed. This should have been done a long time ago by Biden, but Biden was an incompetent president. He couldn't do anything. He didn't know where he was going. He had no clue. This guy had no clue. This should have been done a long time ago.
And we're not necessarily looking at this live, looking at it live on Fox right now. Trump saying, I don't think Waltz needs to apologize. And that other voice other than Trump's was Mike Waltz, the national security advisor. That's fascinating. You heard him say, not only is Jeffrey Goldberg perpetuated hoaxes, I don't know him. I've never communicated with him.
Never communicated with him.
And we're looking into how this happened. Oh, what the hell is that?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, as I'm watching Senator Bennett and John Ratcliffe, the CIA director, argue with each other, we covered that in the first hour. To me, it came across as this is more theater. Like something stinks about it. I'm not going to sit here and pretend, I know all the answers to it. But if Jeffrey Goldberg is claiming it's Mike Waltz who let him into the chat, and Waltz said, I've never communicated with them. I don't know how he got in there. That adds a wrinkle to this. So who was the staffer? Who was controlling the phone? Maybe you can do the whole, like, they were looking for who would actually leak certain things in stories. Then you get into the question, if the CIA director's coming in, State Department, these top-level jobs, and they're like, here's your Signal account, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Director. And you've been looking into how Signal started. Is Signal just one of these companies, or nonprofit in this case, that was spun up by the CIA?
Dude,
an American intelligence agency?
Signal Technology has been selected to lead a team from academia and industry that will design and develop a system of network ultra-miniaturized microelectronic sensors that will collect and distribute tactical and strategic data for intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance applications.
Mm-hmm.
That's to EE Power.
What year is 2008?
No, that's
2018.
No, this is 2002.
Oh, wow. That's old.
Yeah. And then apparently there was, in 2018, there was a nonprofit of the same name. So I got some parsing to do here to see.
So if Waltz, though, is saying in this meeting, I didn't let him in. I don't even know the guy. Never communicated with the guy. That's the heck of a claim. I wonder if he can back it up. Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. This is all sort of just breaking live as Trump is holding a cabinet meeting where he's answering a bunch of questions. Well, one guy has got to be like, I can breathe a little bit today, is Elon Musk. Like every day, every single day has been about Elon Musk. And you talk about when you get on the wrong side of some folks, in particular, some of these media organizations, they know how to go to work on you and your reputation, man. They know how to punch and push all the buttons on people, psychologically speaking, to get them to just loathe the person, even somebody that all these folks loved for years.
You can't weather that storm.
I think he'll be all right.
Well, I mean, some people can weather. I can't weather the storm.
Oh, no, I don't
you
think I
could
could.
weather the storm. The average person can't.
I finally finished that Elon Musk biography. I think, and Walter Isaacson, the biographer, just gave an interview saying he thinks Musk is going to succeed. He kind of ends the book by saying Musk has a darkness to him, a dark side to him, so-called demon mode, that he he speculates he gets from his father, Errol Musk, who is quite a character himself. Some pretty despicable things he's done, especially as he's gotten older. And Elon inherited some of that darkness. Sounded like upbringing in South Africa was pretty rough on purpose. Fighting was normal. And so Musk has this anger issue to him, this sort of demon mode. But the whole theory of Isaacson is this actually makes him who he is. Like, you can't take that part out and have the same guy that goes for these crazy things.
I understand exactly. I got you.
And so because of that, and again, this is hours and hours of being up close, and Isaacson's no fool. He's done the Steve Jobs book. He did the Bill Gates book. He did a fantastic book on Leonardo da Vinci. So he's kind of done these case studies in these innovators and creators and entrepreneurs and businessmen. And he thinks Musk is going to pull it off because, at least so far, the track record is for all the public screw ups and this guy's crazy and naysayers for everything he's gone for. He managed to pull it off. And in the end, and in particular, the media storm, yeah, I think he'll weather it. Well, think about it, like with Twitter. The book kind of ends before the 24 election cycle gets going. Like, and everybody's like, what does he do with Twitter? And like the valuation, he bought it for $44 billion. The valuation's way down, and all these advertisers, he told Bob Iger and all these big advertisers to go F themselves on national TV. Like, what Elon's starting to sound more like his father. But fast forward to 25, yeah, Tesla's down, but Twitter's back up to its original valuation he bought it for. Like, they weathered that storm.
Look, man, I don't care what his stock portfolio says. This dude is brilliant. He is one of the few genius on this actual earth walking around that just transcends most normal people. I mean, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have a space future, I don't believe, because I don't trust NASA to do anything actually substantial, or Bezos, really.
I mean, we'll see. You got to give due credit to ULA here in Alabama, United Launch Alliance, in the sense that they're slow. They do cost plus contracts. It's expensive, but they do have a perfect launch record.
Yeah, but
so there are some. I'll put it this way. I think it needs all to work together, and in fact, that's how it currently works. There is so much wisdom that is now generational and was inherited from the guys that did the Apollo programs.
Mm-hmm.
And that should not be discarded. It's just, you need to supplement it.
That's not what I'm saying. I listened to an interesting podcast from someone who was going over sociopaths.
Yeah.
And the psychologist was actually a sociopath. He didn't realize it, because of the weird study. It was so unorthodox, the study that he did. He could only use his family members. What turned out, he was the only person in his family who was a sociopath, but he come to start learning more and more about the positive effects that some of the sociopaths in history have had that have advanced industry. Your people who pioneered the frontier, to hell with everything,
right.
Your people who set out on the horizon in a boat, not knowing where they were going. That's who this guy is.
Yes.
And I'd much rather have him pushing the envelope and everyone else catching up than having the guys who are catching up pushing forward.
And what's been fascinating, though, is that guy is who everybody chose to go to work on, say, in the left and in the media and the establishment status quo types. And in a way, Musk was pulling attention away from Trump, pulling attention. And it was a good thing. I think Trump likes it. He can just come in and be like, stop messing with my boy. I love Elon. I'll buy a Tesla or something. We're going to defend him, where Musk still is just taking all the heat. This is the first time in 2 months where it's like the heat is actually on, or should be on, Trump, because it is a crazy story, no doubt, this Jeffrey Goldberg story. And yet, just looking at this cabinet meeting, Trump's like, yeah, we're good.
I think the more they get to the origin of, where Signal came from, how it got its government contracts, and how it got on everyone's phones, that answer a lot of questions.
No, and this makes it a little. Mike Waltz will be on with Laura Ingraham tonight. Interesting. Yeah, and we'll see the reaction. But as I was letting this marinate, I'm like, this doesn't seem what it is on the face of it.
Like I was asking you, I believe it was during the break, I want to see the screenshot of some other participant, not the reporter, that shows his phone number included in the group.
That actual screenshot.
Yes, I want to see that. I want to see that the other highly successful professional people, the leaders of this country, didn't recognize that a reporter had been included into their conversation. I want to see that they were so oblivious to that they kept having the conversation.
272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, it's Chris.
Hey, Chris.
What's
up?
Hey, just calling about this stuff going on. I smelled a rat very beginning of this. This is same garbage this Goldberg guy's peddled in the past. You know, he's peddled some other hoaxes, the Russia hoax, and this other stuff too. But the interesting part is, the Mike Benz talked about it a good bit. The Atlantic and those guys that worked there are nothing but CIA mouthpieces. I mean, Atlantic's always been known as a CIA dumping ground to get information out to the public.
I assume when I read the Atlantic's the more sensational stuff, but I assume, say, when you read the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Washington Post, that's all American intelligence. It's the story they're wanting to tell.
Yeah, this is just, it's completely is. And then there's this story about this guy that I think his name is Alan Wong or something like that. He's an Asian gentleman, but he worked for Tom Cotton. And supposedly the thought is this guy maybe accidentally added this guy onto this Signal chat, which is patently absurd anyways. It's going to be that stupid to do it. But then you don't start thinking about, did he do it on purpose? And the last thing is, this stuff they were talking about is not top secret information or anything like that. This is not Hillary Clinton's servers with top secret information on it. And, and then you look at like Asov and these other guys all worked up about it. Where were they worked up about it during Afghanistan when we lost soldiers? Right. Where was that? Where was the people? Not one person was ever never lost their job because of Afghanistan withdrawal. So they're crocodile tears as far as I'm concerned.
Well, and by the way, and all of us speculating over this, apparently one of the he signed a few executive orders sitting in that cabinet meeting Trump just did, but one of the things he signed was a pardon for Hunter Biden's former business partner, Devin Archer.
Let's go.
That's fascinating.
That guy's got all the stuff on the Biden family.
Yeah.
Let that pin thing be not real.
No, he was so close with them. They're like, well, you're like an honorary Biden, which you're never actually a Kennedy or a Biden or a whatever. But that's how they talk to that guy. Like, you're an honorary member of the family.
What I'm saying is let the court say that, those pardons, because it was allegedly under that automatic pin, not being a real pardon.
That flies, but if Biden has enough, like they rolled out Jimmy Carter, like I voted. Okay, and Biden be like, yeah, I'm pardon the guys.
Why would he pardon this guy?
Who pooped my pants?
Why would he pardon this guy?
Well,
why would Trump pardon him? Get him to talk.
Right. How about the Biden letter that he wrote to take himself out of the run for re-election and all this stuff? I mean, they're saying signatures didn't even match. That someone probably wrote it for him. I mean, the guy was just, all he was a person to get things done using his name. I mean, he wasn't even relevant in the day-to-day operations in the White House, which is scary to think.
And I'm just looking at everything that's breaking we haven't talked about yet. I mean, a lot of folks are talking about Jasmine Crockett calling Texas Governor Greg Abbott Governor Hot Wheels. And I'm like, don't be upset about that, because I've heard Governor Abbott jokes for a while online, and that one's mild.
Wall's going to be on Ingram tonight.
Yeah, oh yeah. But I mean, I think what was when I heard talking of Governor Greg Abbott, this guy campaigns like Ronald Reagan, but he governs like FDR.
It's so cruel out there.
It is. Yeah.
It is funny.
Well, and I don't know, Jasmine Crockett's an interesting story to me because she clearly is, she's acting and she knows what she's doing, kind of hamming it up. So I don't know if that's going to be the right approach, though, but it's getting her a lot of clicks and attention. So go for it.
I mean, can you imagine the top people out of the Democrat Party or AOC and this lady? Rocket.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, they got some serious problems, folks.
Or Bernie Sanders at this point.
Oh my God.
Don't get in their way, man.
I'm taking on the oligarchs. By the way, my son, here's $800,000. It's from the books.
Yeah.
I wrote. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, my wife and my wife was making $400,000 a year and then bankrupted a college.
Right.
You remember that one?
Oh yeah, and by the way, oligarchs don't necessarily have to just be rich people. In fact, you can be quite rich and not in the club, and you can be not that rich and still have a heck of a lot of status and power more than a rich person. So, who are we defining as an oligarch? Come on.
The man with the most blackmail.
Oh well, if you're about to start talking about Epstein, look at the time. Look at the time. I'm already compromising.
Let's go. Hey, you know they should say, we're just going to go ahead and end this news cycle on this garbage. Here's Epstein left. See y'all later. Chew on that.
Might drop.
Well, I appreciate the
See y'all
call.
later.
See you, man.
272-9228. Again, as we open the show, Ukraine and Russia have agreed to a Black Sea ceasefire as well as a ceasefire attacking one another's energy infrastructure. That is a great step in the right direction. Fantastic to see. Fantastic to hear. I mean, in a way, having processed this now for 2 hours, 2.5 hours at this point, it's really more like 3.5 hours because I read it this morning and read the piece yesterday. It's kind of refreshing. It's like, okay, this is how it's going to be.
Buckle up.
Let's see, because I'm now not convinced that Jeffrey Goldberg had literally Mike Waltz send him the thing.
Right.
It looked like he claims on the chat Mike Waltz sent it to him, but I'm wondering, okay, there's more to this.
And it was interesting that the Tom Cotton angle got introduced because was it originally that it was going to be his assistant, Waltz?
Well, the guy used to work for Cotton on Senate Intel. And so you hire.
So now he works for Waltz.
Yeah.
Okay. So same person.
And maybe, as that call from Jeremy, it could be like you try to find the leakers.
I know there's
like you give people certain responsibilities knowing they might not be on the up and up, and you see how they behave.
Plan to fly or plan to lie, find a thief. One of those sort of things.
But, welcome to America in 2025. Goodness gracious. I mean, to me, all this day in, day out, the 24/7 news cycle, unless something really big happens, it doesn't matter too much.
I've said that a long time.
It's more, I think at this point, the economy. If the economy sucks by the summer of next year, Republicans got a big old problem.
If the economy sucks by the end of this summer, they got a problem.
I don't think so.
Got holiday season after that, man. If the working class is already strapped for cash going into the holiday season, they're going to have a problem.
Yeah, but you don't vote till the year after. And if the economy, my point is,
I guess my point is the people who are impacted financially, they're not going to be likely to dig themselves out of whatever financial hole they find themselves in. So the sentiment's just going to get worse and worse over, the next year and a half.
No, what I expect is you have low growth numbers in terms of GDP, possibly even what they'll call a recession, though that's always redefined to convenient, one's political strike. No, I expect to see a little bit as you control things, a little downturn, and then I expect to see a GDP boom.
Disposable income.
Yeah.
GDP is not going to matter. Stock market's not going to matter. Whether or not moms and dads can buy cleats for their kids.
And
what's going to
just
matter.
Basic things.
That's
like
what I'm saying.
Cost of gas, cost of food. And that needs to be brought down. Well, and that's the thing. You might need a technical recession in order to bring down the cost of a lot of these goods.
Look, man, I think the market's probably inflated about 40-60% more than what it should be. I'm one of the biggest
I'm saying,
bears I know.
Even if it's rough this Christmas, I keep bringing up the date July 4th, 2026. If you've got a humming economy at that point, you also have actual peace deals, these sort of things settled, a lot of promises made, promises kept at that point. And again, I think the economy is the key part of it. James Carville was right all those years ago in the 90s. The economy's stupid.
Yeah, but that wasn't new then.
Right. Yeah. No, but it's just common knowledge. And you can get sophisticated about this and look at the latest like Snap polling and the trends and yada, yada, yada. But if you actually have a booming America that's celebrating who America is, you're putting on quite a show to do that and inspire people. I hope they bring in Elon's rockets. I'll put it that way. That should be part of the show. should definitely
Who
be.
knows what he might be working on?
Well, they're building a second tower. See that? Yeah, at Starbase, they're building a second Mechazilla, so they can do launches more rapidly.
Getting back to my comment about Elon and not caring about him running so far ahead of the field and everyone else having to catch up. Do you know how many conversations I've had this week with Democrats on, but his last rocket exploded? You know,
oh, good God.
I'm like, this is what happens when people push the boundaries. Not everything is going to be
They're
perfect.
thinking politically.
Well,
and maybe it's not just politically, but I think there are a lot of folks whose mentalities you can never screw up.
I was going to say, there are obviously someone or people who have never really tried to build anything or done anything themselves.
Right.
Because most successful people will tell you they just got successful by not stopping. You know, they failed until they succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
These people just don't even try. And they want to sit there and cast stones and judge others who are trying to, you know, push our boundaries in society.
Hey, you don't know what it's like trying to climb the ladder and you're down on your knees and you're
Governor
just
Abbott.
272-9228. I have it on good authority. That guy doesn't stand up for the pledge.
Ooh.
But yeah, that's the big thing. Jasmine Crockett says Governor Abbott is Governor Hot Wheels and called him a hot ass mess. She kept saying that word, hot ass. I'm like, all right. And now we have, and I'll still get the newsletters from more Democrat PR people and comms people. And they're all like, man, farmers are going to get screwed. And like all the hospitals are going to get screwed. All these cuts, the Doge and Trump and Medicaid and all the SNAP program and the farm subsidy program, all this stuff. Everybody's just going to get screwed because we're cutting money. I'm like, no, everybody's literally going to get screwed if we don't start right-sizing the government.
They don't want to, they fail to see the long.
Well, and why is the common good always a one-way ratchet of more government spending? Why isn't the common good sometimes everybody has to cut back a little bit?
Yeah, exactly. Why is the common good not that we have a little short-term pain now to maintain our dominance over the next 100 years?
Well, and here's how I was thinking it through yesterday. See what you think of this. You want to get from point A to point B.
No.
And for years, right? No, I'm staying at point A. No, but let's say for the sake of argument, you want to get from point A to point B.
All right.
And somebody's like, well, I think you could get from point A to point B in a cheaper way, in a safer way, if you get rid of that car and we actually, you know, get a new vehicle. And as soon as you start to go down that road of let's get you a new vehicle to get you from point A to point B, all the folks that had to, all the mechanics that have to service that old piece of junk are like, well, we get paid a lot for servicing that piece of junk. And all the folks that have to come and bail you out when you stop on the side of the road and tow you to point B from point A, like, well, what about our jobs and our cuts here? And it's like, yeah, but the car sucks. We're never even getting to point B half the time.
But what they even hate more than that is if you have a halfway broken down car, but you can repair it yourself.
Oh, they really hate that.
Oh, yeah, man. To show some form of sufficiency.
Oh, or let alone it's like, we have a new engine that runs even better, more efficiently, faster. It's like, but what about all of us that make the old engines and all the parts that we keep replacing? And it's like we have this beat up, rundown vehicle getting us from point A to point B in so many things. And folks are like, we need to update this, especially for our long-term prosperity and actually be able to get to our destination. And all the folks used to the old beat up car are like, no, but I got a good thing going here with the system being suboptimal. Yeah. And I see what they're saying, but I'm sorry. It's so cynical. Like when you put SNAP benefits in with like the farm benefits, it's like,
I'm going to sound heartless here for just a second. The analogy that you're using, those people didn't care about the buggy maker.
Yeah.
You know, they just wanted theirs and they wanted it easy. Nobody wants to have to make hard decisions.
Right. Or see something blow up. Yeah. Well, I think we learned something in that segment, I guess.
Maybe. This
part of the program brought to you by, again, Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings. And they're really great folks over there. Say you got a nice watch.
and you want a lifetime watch battery replacement, just go in. I think it starts at $40 depending on the type of watch you have. You can get that there at Dillon Rings. And yes, Josh Ryder is that good. He can do watch repairs. If you've ever gone down the YouTube rabbit hole of watch repairs, it's something oddly soothing about watching it. But I can never do it. Like, it's so, these tiny parts, how all this is placed in just the exact right way. I've seen somebody else do it. I'm like, that's incredible. And Josh Ryder knows how to, pull that off. He can also do just basic repairs on any type of jewelry, maybe a spa treatment. It could be you have a piece of jewelry, a ring, a bracelet, necklace you wear all the time, and it looks like you've been wearing it all the time for years. Why not get a spa treatment so it shines and shimmers like it's brand new again, and you keep on wearing it every day? Of course, they also have an amazing selection. Leslie puts together a great inventory there, from high-end pieces, hard to find, one-of-a-kind items, to that everyday jewelry. It could be like a fun, like friendship bracelet or forever bracelet. Or it could be like maybe it's your little girl's first piece of jewelry. These sorts of things. They've got it all at Dillon Rings. So check them out today. Just stop by 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Byron, those fellas on the radio, sent you. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Get ready for CAFCO's Spring Open House Weekend, Thursday, April 2nd through Saturday, April 5th. Shop our exciting Easter decor, gift items, silk florals, and much more. Enjoy refreshments, register for door prizes, and shop our daily deals. Saturday, April 5th at 10:30, join Karen Gresham from Crafty Creations Wreath Shop for a designer demo. And enjoy music by Brian Brantley, noon till 3. Shop CAFCO's Spring Open House for huge savings on our already low outlet pricing, April 2nd through the 5th on the Wetumpka Highway.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdis. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Hello, I'm Mr. Ben. If your vehicle has seen better days, fear not. Help is on the way. Mr. Ben's Auto Spa Express has added a professional detail shop. Specialized techniques and products are used to get your vehicle back to showroom shape. Hand washing, waxing, stain removal, odor removal, shampooing, minor scratch removal, and more. Mr. Ben's Auto Spa Express, next to Fraser Church on the Atlanta Highway. Come by for a free estimate. Look like you've been to Mr. Ben's.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Montgomery Men's Health exists for guys who get it done. Let's talk, fellas. You solve problems all day at work. You fix your sink when it's broken. But when it comes to ED and low T, it doesn't get done. We get it. You hate going to the doctor, but you're the guy that fixes things. At Montgomery Men's Health, there's nothing to fear and no reason to delay. We've been destroying bedroom boredom for years. Our friendly, discreet team of medical providers will take the time to listen. So if you haven't fixed this, call us. When the pills fail, call us. If you feel like you've tried everything, call us. Here, there's hope. From the conventional to the next level. Imagine finally taking care of this with no surgery. Imagine going from feeling gray to living life in vibrant color. It's time to be confident. Join the thousands of guys who have found success after walking through our doors. Will you be one of them? Dial 334-440-3663 or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to schedule a $99 male performance consultation, including blood work. Do it for you. Do it for her. MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com. Book your appointment now.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Pestruccelli, General Sales Manager and co-owner of Blue Water Broadcasting. Even in the digital age, radio remains the most powerful reach medium for connecting with audiences. Its ability to engage listeners, reach a wide and diverse audience, and create real emotional connections sets it apart from other forms of media. Radio's adaptability and easy access ensure its continued relevance now and in the future. Want to learn how radio can work for your business? Visit BlueWaterBroadcasting.com. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of H&H Carpets across from Walmart on the Atlanta Highway, where right now you can get 1,050 square feet of carpet installed for $19.95 only at H&H Carpets in Montgomery.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We are enjoying a really nice storm-free pattern right on through the end of this work week. Tonight, mostly clear skies, not as cool. Overnight low temperature down to about 52. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow, and we'll throw in Thursday as well with a high temperature up near 80 tomorrow, upper 70s on Thursday. Even Friday looks great with a high temperature up to about 81, mostly sunny skies. Still warm Saturday, but clouds will be increasing, and there is a threat of severe weather again on Sunday. We're going to keep our eyes on this next storm system. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
You can make your ASC loan payments from your phone anytime, anywhere. It's quick and easy. www.yourasccu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
ASD Credit Union. Your life, your goals, your ASD.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. We have some news breaking about an hour ago. President Trump, Elon Musk, and Doge just scored a win over the activist judge who tried to force them to reinstate USAID. The Fourth Circuit just halted Judge Schwang, that guy, which required Doge's access to much of the USAID to be suspended. An expanded ruling could come later this week. But as of now, the appeals court is pumping the brakes on this judge's BS ruling to just hire everybody back. And this court whole situation will continue to play itself out. And at some point, the Supreme Court's going to have to touch it. I don't think they want to, but they will. And shifting gears here, local, like hyper-local, like Montgomery local. Mm-hmm. It's called Montgomery County. Mm-hmm. Montgomery Area Chamber of Commerce calls on Board of Education to conduct expanded and open superintendent search. The Montgomery Area Chamber of Commerce withdrew its offer to help host Montgomery Public Schools superintendent finalist receptions and fireside chats scheduled for Monday and Tuesday. According to WSFA, Dr. Harold Wright, a deputy superintendent at Fort Worth Independent School District, and Dr. Zaccheus Bird, Zickeyeous. Zaccheus? I don't know. Dr. Bird, spelled with a Y, a former superintendent of Selma City Public Schools, are the two finalists for the next Montgomery Public School superintendent position.
Wait, hold on, pause. Fort Worth and Selma?
Yeah.
Who you got your money on, Joey?
Oh, if I had to pick between two, Fort Worth.
Okay.
Jamie Wilson has been serving as the system's new interim superintendent since October. The Montgomery County Board of Education voted by a 4-3 margin in September to accept former Montgomery Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Melvin Brown's resignation. Brown had been superintendent since April 2022. His resignation was effective last November 1st. Anna Buckaloo, president and CEO of the Montgomery Area Chamber of Commerce, said on Monday, quote, "The chamber had originally agreed to help co-host these events based on the expectation of a sincere search process that recruited the best and brightest candidates from around the country. That did not occur, in spite of repeated appeals by a coalition of local leadership for transparency and a request to continue and broaden the search. The Montgomery County Board of Education has sent a very clear signal that the only engagement they seek is to offer audiences with candidates whom they have already selected behind closed doors. The future of MPS students and the vibrancy of Montgomery is at stake here, and that's worth fighting for," Buckaloo went on to say. The chamber again reiterates, "We are proud of the progress in Montgomery Public Schools, and we'll lend our full support to an expanded and open superintendent search. Montgomery students must be ready for the jobs and opportunities new industries generate." Lisa Keith, a Montgomery County Board of Education member, told 1819 News on Monday the quote-unquote pushback from the Chamber of Commerce and a handful of politicians, which I believe included the mayor as well, only pushed this 7-member board of women even closer. So I'd like to thank the chamber personally for the push we so desperately needed. Kudos. Again, let me quote that. This is Lisa Keith. "The pushback from the Chamber of Commerce and a handful of politicians only pushed this 7-member board of women even closer. So I'd like to thank the chamber personally for the push we so desperately needed. Kudos."
Snap.
Well, that's Lisa Keith just being Lisa Keith. They're in the business of economic development. They want to put a superintendent in there and say that superintendent has been there for 10 years and that all Montgomery Public School System's kids are straight A's. We're not, okay? They're not going to get that no matter what they put into that type of position. They want to tell people coming to Montgomery, hey, we're a straight A school system and we've kept our superintendent for over 10 years. The average lifespan of any superintendent of any big place like Montgomery, Atlanta is 3 years. Stats will tell you that it's 3 years, Lisa Keith went on to say. I mean, you could take my idea and just abolish it, get rid of it. Start over again, get the new car, get us from point A to point B. But we can't do that. Oh, no, we can't think big. It might blow up on the platform or something. And where'd the kids be then? I don't know. They might be better off on their own. I've always wondered when I see like the average ACT score out of Montgomery, like, wait, is this the kids or the people running the system? What are we talking about here? What a mess, though, to see like the chamber. I think the mayor was in on this. A bunch of folks were just like, that's a little too Selma, really?
All right, so help me out here. Give me a summary. Other than Fort Worth, how many other credible candidates were you aware of?
Oh, I haven't been I don't have children.
Because I'm guessing, Cousin Earl down in Selma was it a legit, and the Fitz was in on Fort Worth, and that's just that, or at least that's how it seems to me.
Reading from WSFA, board president Erika Watkins Smith explained what stood out about the candidates, saying, quote, "The uniqueness in their approaches, I'll say their level of experience that they bring to the table. The fact that as I look at the profile and see what the community would like to see, they fit the profile for what the community has asked for." Back to my ACT point. I want to read that sentence again. The uniqueness in their approaches, I'll say their level of experience that they bring to the table, the fact that as I look at the profile and see what the community would like to see, they fit the profile for what the community has asked for. Community. The finalist will visit Montgomery March 24th and what's today? Hey, welcome to Montgomery.
Ooh, I hope they're listening.
Yeah, I probably don't need to. The final decision will be made sometime between March 26th and April 8th.
Didn't the judge say at the beginning of the show that the Russians are trained in like answering with 3 responses that is basically just the same thing regurgitated, rolled, prepackaged for ad nauseum.
Yeah, I think I'd be doing quite well in Russia.
I feel like a lot of our Montgomery politicians
Right.
might do well in Russia.
Right. Well, they need to get a little more formal. Russians are very formal.
And a bigger coat.
Yeah. Get one of those furry hats. I've always wanted a furry hat, but I got enough hair on my head.
In your face.
Yeah, in my face.
Yeah. Not like those little European.
I know there are people thinking I should probably get a haircut, but I don't want to. I like my hair longer. I don't like it short.
All that matters.
I might get a cut like yours or something. Just join the club.
Mine's pretty standard.
Yeah, no, yours is like standard Southern guy.
Indescript.
Yeah. No, maybe I'll join the club in that regard.
Yeah.
Why do I need to stand out with this hippie hair? 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Let's hit this final break. Hopefully we'll have Ray Bowles on the other side.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hi there, I'm Madeline Cannon with Alabama Home Mortgage. Getting pre-approved is the first step towards home ownership. People are often scared or nervous about taking that first step, but I'll tell you, it's nothing to be scared of. At Alabama Home Mortgage, we will take the first step and every step along the way with you. Call us at 567-4223. We will gather the information needed to tell you exactly what you qualify for. After a call to Alabama Home Mortgage, you will know what price point to shop for, what down payment is required, if any, and what your monthly mortgage payment will look like. We take all the guessing out of it. Then, when you find the house you want to make your home, you are ready to make an offer. Along with your offer, you will submit your Alabama Home Mortgage pre-approval letter. This shows sellers that you've already taken the steps necessary to ensure that you qualify to purchase their home. Wait no longer. It's time to take that first step together. Call me at 567-4223 or start the process online at myalabamahomemortgage.com.
That's Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
For 65 years, Guardian Credit Union has been your trusted financial partner. And now we're proud to extend that trust further by introducing Guardian Insurance Services. Whether protecting your home, car, or even your business, we've got the coverage that fits your needs. Our team is here to guide you every step of the way with the personalized service you know and love. Call 334-819-7555 for a free quote today. Guardian Insurance Services, building on 65 years of trust, now safeguarding your future.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Welcome back. Final segment of the program. And on the phones, we have Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. How you doing?
Man, I'm great. I tell you, it's just been flying by today. I've been
Really has.
working on a commercial bid, so my head's been buried in paper all day long. I literally just left the store to go measure a new construction just because I wanted to get out for a minute.
Oh, there you go. And to just make it clear, y'all do it all. It's not just residential. It sounds like commercial, new construction, all sorts of things.
Absolutely. School projects we'll do, commercial projects, apartments. A lot of the work we do in Auburn are the apartments, and when the turn hits and the kids all leave, we're over there running 100 miles an hour throwing down floors. So we can do whatever you need done. We can get it done for you. It starts with a phone call, 285-8117. We'll come out and give you a free measurement. And next thing you know, you got this floor down. Just that simple.
Again, that's 285-8117. And be sure to tell them when you call 285-8117, you heard Ray Bowles on the radio with that Joey Clark fella.
Hey, have a great day.
You too, Ray. Well, I'm trying to think. What did I learn today? I've come to the conclusion that this whole story of this reporter being included in the sensitive signal group chat, is not what it seems on the face of it at this point. At first, I'm like, what the heck? And honestly, as I read the actual conversation that was published, I'm like, this seems pretty normal to me. The fact that a reporter's in there on the chat, especially that reporter, well, it made me start thinking there's more to this. And you saw Mike Waltz was denying he's the one who actually added them, even though on the Signal chat it looked like Mike Waltz is who added Jeffrey Goldberg. So you got to wonder, what's the truth of this? Sometimes I suspect the worst, that like all these systems are compromised in one way or the other. It's awfully convenient that that reporter ends up with this story. We'll see the rest of the fallout. Again, we learned that a early preliminary ruling by an appeals court is knocking down the judge that said, rehire everybody at USAID. Yeah, we'll get right on it. We'll get right on it, Judge. We learned that there is now a lot of men who want to do beard transplants, where they take like the hair off the back of your neck, like up here.
I heard you talking about that.
Yeah, and fix the patchy spots, the bald spots, and I think that's a dumb. What do you think, Pamela?
Beards have become a huge thing. It's very.
What do you think of this?
I don't like hair transplants. It's strange.
Yeah.
You just got to go with what God gave you.
Because you do a lot of cosmetic procedures there at AMS. And so, yeah, as I was reading about the beard transplant thing, I'm like, no, man.
I feel like it can get messed up pretty easily.
Yeah. Really?
Just unintended,
Well,
you know.
like the hair here is not the same thing as this hair.
No, I heard you say that too. They take it from the back of the head. It's not the same texture at all.
Well, and people start thinking, well, I got hair elsewhere. No, man, don't take those follicles.
No, that's still not the same either.
No. Well, you got stubble now. Thanks.
At what cost?
Thanks for paying, Vikram. Let's go to line one real quick. Hey, you're on there. Who's this?
Flower Child.
Hey, Flower Child.
Certainly don't want that curly stubble, do you?
Ooh. It's a jungle on your face.
I just had a thought. You know how they started trying to take General Flynn out?
Yep.
What if they're trying to take Waltz out? Have y'all talked about that today?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've kind of covered every little nook and cranny and angle of this thing. And at first, I'm like, no, they really screwed up. This is the first big F up of the Trump administration. But then the more I saw the Democrats, how they're pouncing on the CIA director and Tulsi Gabbard in this Senate committee hearing, which was just conveniently planned for today, weeks ago. And then I heard Waltz himself say, no, I didn't add him. I'm like, okay, there's more to this. And it does seem like another setup, another trick.
Yep. All right.
Appreciate it, Flower Child.
Be on your toes. Bye.
And, well, I'm out of here. I'm out of time. Greg's going to be here, though?
He ought to be.
Okay. Y'all stay tuned. Greg Beadle and Pamela, they're next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.